Be back at 2 o'clock. I'll be back with Joe at 2 o'clock, but enjoy.
Oh no, I'm in mobile here. We don't want to get on mobile there.
Yo,
what's going on? What's up, Trader TV Live? Happy Monday. Right here, it's your boy Joe. And next to me, we got Obi. Yeah, I'm just waiting to pull up the chat here and see what we got going on. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day, regardless of what you are trading. I think it's really important just to stay within your risk measures, obviously. And there, no, it's not the mobile one again there, Obi. We got to find it. There it is. All right, now we're live and we're ready to rock and roll. Yeah, I mean, it's been a questionable one there with Tesla for a bit, not moving with the overall market, as you can see, climbing aggressively, and it's taken some time for Tesla to start to participate, but that's okay. We don't mind whatsoever because we are involved in it, just like our good friend Katina Man. I know Obi was involved in it earlier in the day as well too, so there it is. Boom, we're starting to cook up. But first, Obi, you know what time it is. We got to do some roll call. We're waiting for this chat to load. Come on, YouTube, you can do it.
Take some attendance.
Yeah, exactly. We got to see who's in here and who's rocking and rolling, who's putting up those numbers today, whether you're red or green or just putting on some good trades. All right, let's go over this. Who do we have in the chat? We got Danny Koo. What's up, my friend? Who else do we got in there? Luger 27, Hangry Wife, D Scurv. What's going on? Mike P, the Rider, and then we got Dude V. Who else do we got? We got Will. Shout out to Will. I have a good friend named William Gorev. My boy, what's going on there? 420 Bud Monster. iFast Trades. Okay, so you're not eating anything there. I get that one. Charlie Taff, what's going up, my friend? Silly Mama, hey, how are you? One more there, Obi. Yes, Big 40 nephew. And there goes Tesla, putting in some more, a new high right there. So boom, we like that one. Not much left on this trade there, Obi, but it's been working out pretty good for us. Yeah. What have we traded on the day? 1 second. This thing took us a while to get it going, but now we're starting to cook up. But let's see what my friend Obi has got going on.
Yeah, no, I've only pretty much touched Tesla. Hopefully you guys are doing well off of the open. What a crazy, crazy run up on Tesla. The story that's been unfolding. Like last week and in the weeks prior as well, we saw that consolidation start to build up. Multi-week, multi-month-ish consolidation there in the mid to was it 350s-ish, and then we finally got that 368, 370 break coming in on Thursday and Friday. That strength, and then we get the news yesterday. This morning that, Elon bought $1 billion worth.
Billion.
Cool billy.
100 billion.
No, sometimes you just gotta slap a billy more onto your position.
You never know when you have to. You never know when you have to. But some days you just wake up and you're like, all right, what am I gonna do with this extra billy I got here?
The average for those
more shares.
The average for those shares is like $3.95. So bro is chilling right now. He's chilling.
He's good.
He's vibing. It's at 420. Yeah. It's higher than he thought it would be, but you know what I mean. I don't know. But we're chopping around, consolidating like off of the open. I tried the long, didn't work, and then I did get the long off that 415 for the push a little bit higher, and then got short on VWAP. I'm pretty much, I am red on it. I was gonna say flat, but I'm not flat just yet on it. I'm pretty red on it because of the initial longs, but the short that I caught brought me back a little bit there. Market's hella strong. Tesla is doing its thing, and it kind of lick grabbed that low right there. You can see a nice little wick low at that 415. So 415 support as of right now, 423's prior high, and then pre-market highs coming in at 430. So if we can effectively get on top of VWAP, get on top of some of this morning structure, I'm curious to know whether or not we actually get through that 430. I think all-time highs on a name like Tesla is almost inevitable, but let's see how it.
In the coming week,
In the coming week, whoa. Okay.
I mean, you got to think we're still we're still 11% off of those previous all-time highs. Tap into you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But anyways, guys, that's what we had cooking up. I seen Google on Obi's chart there momentarily. I am kind of liking it at VWAP. Man, this name has been absolutely insane. Google's just been on a monster run, and just jot that down, guys. When you have all these antitrust lawsuits going on, and then sure enough, you have these mega caps beat them. and the judge ruling in their favor, essentially. They just got to share a little data at the end of the day. You got to take that trade. 212 all the way to a high of 252. So that's some monstrous moves there in Google. And you know what, guys, full disclosure, you know what was going on. In April, we sold somewhere around this neck of the woods and rotated into some Robinhood and NVDA. But now it looks like a slight rotation. But I mean, Robinhood's been fantastic for us, and so has NVDA. But yeah, holding on to those big names, really, really important. Okay, so a hefty dive down. I'm glad that I have nothing off. So what I was talking with Obi earlier in the session is that, okay, so we try this we try this attempt 1, get stopped out, attempt 2, stopped out, 3, okay, no problem. Then we double it up, so we're essentially in the size of those 2 losses. But then we get stopped out 60% right here on this candle of our remaining, looking for the continuation. And I'm like, oh, you dirty dog, Tesla, you. And then sure enough, you get some indecision at the lows. I'm like, all right, let's take another stab, start small. Nope, doesn't go, stop out on that one. And then sure enough, we get this hammer candle print on the 1 minute. And I'm like, yeah, all right, it's just go in the size, right? Don't even hesitate. When you see that type of setup right here, you get involved as right away, and then you build in with as much as you're slightly uncomfortable with, and you look for that continuation. But that's a key level right there at 422.86 that you're seeing an aggressive rejection right there. And with that being said, Obi, we're going to take a look at the options chain. I know Rivi Millionaire was like, hey, Joe, what's going on with
what would you say are some interesting chains before even looking at them? Like at the prices, I think 425 is going to be nice. 430 is going to be interesting, like stacked. Probably.
Yeah, we can take a look right now. I don't know why it's not showing everything, but surprisingly, Obi, what has the largest amount of open interest right now is 400. 400, okay. And then you can go. So 420 does have 23,800 current open contracts, but look at the substantial volume there.
Yeah.
So they're closing. Yeah. So 66,000 contracts. So to add to your point there, 420 is the highest amount of volume right there.
Nice.
On
I would expect it to be the highest.
Yeah,
highest in the room.
Exactly. It is. Yeah, Travis Scott. He's most definitely. There you go. It's most definitely the highest in the room.
Some of those 420 calls.
Yeah, it's definitely it's the highest in the room. So yeah, that's what we got going on with Tesla. Oh, we did have one more trade here, and that's on IONQ. I did get
that was my top idea, by the way, this morning. It did not do what I was looking for.
Same.
Did not do what I was looking for. So, right.
So yeah, this is what we had on IONQ as well. I mean, you get these daily breakouts. You're punching through 48, boom, and you're off to the races. And the buyers step right back in. So that's positive. Obviously, we'd like to have a little bit more shares on this one, but you play the break of view at boom, 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 and we almost catch the peak on it. So we can't complain whatsoever on IONQ, brother.
Yes, sir. Yeah, no, the market's taking a little bit of a pullback here. I'm watching a few other stocks when it comes to the, I guess, Mag 7s here. So let's take a look at some of those and see what's going on over there. So let me just put in my stop for that one there. And yeah, I really like the way some of these Mag 7s are moving right now. Apple was another stock on my list for a potential trade here. So let's take a look at Apple. Apple is breaking out, or was breaking out pretty aggressively coming into this week. You can see how strong this push on Friday was. A little bit of a flat top for 234. So my game plan over the weekend on Sunday was, all right, well, if Apple can get pushed, I actually wanted to take a technical break through this, but guess what? That trade already coming in the pre-market and already pushing up, maybe even giving a little too much of an extension, 238 highs, and a beautiful, beautiful rejection and failure to follow through, reversion, whatever you want to call it, off of the open on Apple. Maybe a little bit of a fill back down to 235s. I like that. I kind of missed that 235 hold. I like that as a little bit of a psychological level, and it's close enough to the 234 to be like, all right, if we're going to start to really sell off aggressively and then meet a wall on 235s, which is only $1 away from this prior day's resistance, and then that resistance, we can see it becoming into support for a nice little curl back up towards VWAP, and then maybe even a little bit higher here. So yeah, it's looking pretty good here for a potential push. Let's see if we can get past that 237. That's what I like. But the market, both the ES and the Nasdaq, are pulling back as of right now. So I don't know, might be a little wary on that one. But guess what? like I said, some of these Mag 7s are not like the others. Take a look at Softy here. Softy aggressively strong. This was very unexpected on my part, where I was just like, all right, well, Softy, I'm going to let it kind of consolidate, do whatever. It did do relative volume coming in on Friday. We had a little bit of a spike Thursday evening, but couldn't really get there. But maybe today's the day that we're really getting there. This 500 push and hold and break on Softy coming in really, really nice. And this was all the way from that 520 breakdown, if you remember that. Remember that grinding trend that Microsoft had beforehand, and then you see that coming in, kind of that 500 breakdown was the follow through, in my opinion, and then I guess we're holding in and around that 500 mark as well.
It's good, right? Like, to speak of Microsoft here, we were talking about this for some time, is that boom, okay, so you have this steady uptrend snaps, you get the move to the downside, and then now the downtrend is broken. Now you're on the backside of that, Obi, so not too bad of a look there on Microsoft to your point there.
So the buyers are stepping back in, is what I'm saying. Is like now the question becomes, like, do they step back in with such significance that we kind of push and reclaim some of those significant levels, like the 540s, the 525s or whatever, or is this just a lower high? I have no idea, but I really like that initial kind of breakdown, that 520 breakdown on Microsoft for the swing short. However you wanted to execute that. I think there was opportunity there for sure. Google coming in with a little bit of reversion as of right now as well. Beautiful, clean reversion. Where's my browser there? Okay, let me just pull this in right here. So yeah, goggles. Let's take a look at this one. Look at this beautiful, beautiful straight line up, and then a nice grind back down through that 250 back into VWAP. Hasn't quite reached this 247 just yet, but this grind trend down is pretty interesting, Joe, there, because look, the aggressive bid, it just, as soon as that bid is done, just slow, steady selling all the way back down, reverting to the mean. And you know how much I like my mean reversions, but a bit of a miss on Apple, I think, sorry, on Google, I think the reversions may be better taking it that 251, 250, maybe even if Amazon is strong, but not as strong as, say, like a Google or something. So this is what Amazon was up to here this morning. So nice little opening range breakout. I know you like those 232s on Amazon. That gave you almost a point and a half, a little over a point and a half. 233.70s is the high of day as of right now. So these technical breakouts working out really nicely. And look at that confirmation as well. Look at the volume on the candle that breaks that opening range. That's confirmation that you want to see. You're just like, all right, we're actually seeing volume push through a significant level. That's a good sign. But yeah, no, that's what I had eyes on off of the open. Nothing too crazy as of right now. Getting chopped up on Tesla as we speak, as it just wants to print a lot more volume at this 420. Obviously, we looked at the chain. 420s are is the most stacked chain.
Yeah, for sure.
Highest in the room.
It's definitely the high. What's up, Fabian?
What's going on?
Oh, you're good? All right. We're just seeing we just want to see. All right, guys. All right, so this is what we got going on, right? So full disclosure, we talk about wins, losses, whatever it may be, right? So this is my TXN swing, dirty dog, right? So we're still sitting on a little bit of unrealized there, but my swing, TXN swing, gaps down this morning, and I'm like, oh, as soon as I open my eyes, I get an alert, TXN, boom, at a certain price, boom, smoked for a quick, bright and early 5 spot. But again, we got a little unrealized. I'm liking the calls, and I'm liking some calls for the crypto space leading into FOMC. So it was a rough weekend for your boy, not gonna lie. So I had two picks. I very rarely sports gamble. So for all my UFC fans and all my fight fans, what I had essentially was the main event of UFC, Juan Silva versus Diego Lopez, to go into the 3rd round. And then I had the main event, obviously, in the boxing match to go to decision. And in the main event on the UFC card, needed to go to the 3rd round, and my guy gets KO'd with 13 seconds left in the 2nd round. And I'm like, oh my God, what a bad beat. Big time fail. I'll even hit it on myself. So we took a hefty loss on that one, which kind of sucked. But hey, at the end of the day, it is what it is. If you're looking to make some money, you got to put some cash up. And I should have added to some more Tesla on that one. So I don't know who bet on Canelo. I I had Terrence the whole time. You guys know we've been talking about it for quite some time. I almost puked and thought you said TSN. Oh, TSMP. No, I don't know, unfortunately. But yeah, that was a tough look. But Tesla's starting to head back towards this key pivot level right at 422. So we'll keep a note. Yeah, I know day trader cut. I couldn't even believe it. So essentially what I was doing, I was so amped. I'm like, all right, let's go. So for the second round, I was actually just shadow boxing and fighting, pretending like I was Juan Silva fighting Diego Lopez. And then I got knocked out 13 seconds left in the second round, Obi. This is such a bad beat, man.
Sorry, Fabian was just helping me with something. I missed the beginning of the story. This was your fight?
No, this is, I put a sports bet on.
Okay, yeah.
Which I very rarely do.
Yeah.
If I like the fight, I'll do something. But anyways, I needed the main event to go to the third round.
Okay.
And then the guy got knocked out with 13 seconds left in the second round. Yeah, otherwise I would have won.
No.
Yeah. So that was a horrible beat. So this weekend we've been taking a slack, and there's no questioning that. But so good.
Was there a big fight this weekend? Is that what it was? Because I saw some posts about like some dude. He called in and he had $1 million bet, and he's just like, I can't tell you, but I just have to change it to the other guy.
Yeah, that was.
You heard about that?
That was Aiden Ross.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Ross was,
so he definitely has some insider information.
Yeah, Aiden Ross had the $1 million bet on Canelo, and then he switched it.
Last second. What?
Last minute to put on Bud Crawford, and I said I knew.
GG copy traders, copy betters.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And I should have caught on to that one, but we didn't. It's unfortunate. But let's go Tesla. Let's see if we can break through. I was going to add here, but I was kind of indulged in my story. That was a beautiful signal right below V open and worked out. You could have pieced out. But other than that, we're not going to be too upset with what we got going on. Potential topping signal here on Microsoft as well, too, for all my VPA traders. That's a big time one right there on MSFT. Adara, what do you got for us?
Yeah, what I have here is these talks with China's lead trade negotiator, Li. China's trade negotiation team is holding a press conference after these meetings earlier. Basically, he's saying that apparently they've reached a framework agreement on TikToks. The U.S. and China have reached a framework agreement on TikTok. This is previously indicated by U.S. President Donald Trump and U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, but now being confirmed here by China's trade negotiation team. Now, it is also worth noting, trade envoy Cheng Gang just said that China will not be sacrificing its principles for a TikTok deal. So they've reached a framework, but they're not willing to sacrifice any principles in their eyes. Again, China's lead trade negotiator, Li, also saying that the goal here is to cut misunderstandings and boost cooperation between the countries. Back to you.
Yeah, Bo, that fight was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Other than that, man, we're looking for Tesla to break this peak to see if we can get involved. I wasn't even thinking about shorting Softy right now, considering we were just talking about it not too long ago. Breaking downtrend, continuing its topside move. So this is day 2 on the backside of that trend. So looking pretty good, but we want to start piecing some out. This was the reload. I need that I'm reloaded thing here because this is where you got to go. Maybe if I had it, I would reload a little bit more often just so I can hit it. But at the end of the day, this is what we got cooking up here on TSLL. 2x leverage Tesla there, Obi.
Yeah, I did get short initially on that Amazon, and then I went in to type in my stop, and I think I mistyped what the stop was, and it got me out instantly there. But you know what? I'm going to wait a little bit longer. Let's see. It is looking like it might want to take a bit of a beeline. There's Tesla. A little bit of a breakout happening on Tesla. Hey, yo. 423 half. So we did break out of this kind of range, or not necessarily opening range, but that morning session high there, 423s. 425s is the next stop. That's what I'm looking at here. So let me pull that up. Tesla, I really liked the long, man. I really liked the long, and it comes in, it wicks the low, it wicks the day low, and then bids right back up. That's definitely a little bit of strength. I tested it again here at VWAP. I'm like, all right, well, do we sell off, or is this actual strength after wicking the day low? It seems like we're making a little bit of a beeline towards high a day. Don't forget, pre-market highs coming in at 430.36 is, Joe, that is not that far away. In terms of the range that Tesla can do, you just saw what it did. 420, like I was short just above 419, and I'm like, I'm gonna give it to the back through of 420 because if I was like, if it gets back up there, the probabilities are strongly skewed against me. And guess what happened? I get stopped out on top of the break of 420, and then we hit that 423, we break out of that prior high. So that extension happens just in 6 minutes, right? So it's like it can move a distance in a relatively short amount of time. So it's always best to kind of, I guess, try to ride the strength on this one, whether it's to the upside or to the downside, more often than not, and be wary of some of these crazy wick actions. Like, look, you break this prior high, and then you get some selling. You break this day low, and then the buying steps right back in. So it's like sometimes for Tesla, I even like to be really, really patient and wait for that moment, that big like lick grabber, whatever you want to call it, where it takes out a few stops and then it reverses. I really like that kind of action there. And again, that kind of action in any sort of market, I think, is definitely changing the short-term probabilities for things, if at all, I think. So Amazon's taking a little bit of a pullback. I like the 233 short. It's at 232.69 on the bid as of right now. So that's pulling back quite nicely. So a little bit of a miss on Amazon, but I'll wait for another pop. But I don't know. If this is going to be a good reversion, it's probably not going to have any pops. It'll probably just come right into VWAP. But if it's a choppy reversion, then I like it a little bit better. Maybe we make some lower highs and build some structure that really kind of shows us that, okay, now sellers are in charge. They're willing to break some structure as well. So, but at the end of the day, market's strong, Amazon's strong, technically still making higher highs and higher lows on the day. So it is technically a counter trend, even though the short-term, I guess, action has been a bit of a short scalp here. No backside to say the most there. NVIDIA almost coming into its day highs, 176.58 there. I'm curious, how many of you guys have been swinging some of that NVIDIA? I know that earnings wasn't as hot as some people would have liked, but guess what? We kind of bid back. We kind of did okay, right?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. The crypto space starting to break down a little bit here, guys. I'm doing something like I just mentioned before, man. And Katina, everybody here says it. You got to be willing to put up some cash. You told me, I just told you guys exactly what happened in my TXN swing. Take a little bit of a hit, but I'm going heavy on some contracts leading into this FOMC. It's either it's going to work out really well, or I'm going to be coming in the next day with holding my head somewhat high regardless of the win or loss that happens on that one. So be keeping in mind. But we're also involved in some Bitcoin here. This is what I was referring to. So we got a nice 5-minute hammer candle right at some support levels. If it decides to breach, then we'll just get out of that. We'll start relatively small on that. But we're thankful for what we had here on Tesla. So yeah, Katina Man's cooking. This is starting to work out. Obi, this is what I was talking about not too long ago on Microsoft. It seems that you didn't even get a move higher, but you have that gravestone doji right there on the 5-minute at an extreme high, and you get somewhat of a pullback. Maybe you do run into this prior support level, or sorry, prior resistance that can act as support. So keep an eye out on that one. So yeah, we're again, swing account, we're shares, ETHA, we're contracts, IBIT as well too. So yeah, throw those contract monies up. Can't complain, man. My 410 calls on Tesla made my month. So I can't in good faith whine about my luck. Let's keep printing on the market. Yeah, exactly, man. That's how it is. Like the good times feel like they don't last long enough, and the bad times are just like, ooh, it feels like they're never going to go away. But again, a bad day is only 24 hours, guys. So just keep that in mind. And guess what? You get to wake up the next day, and hopefully everything is starting to rock and roll. So try to keep a positive mindset as much as possible. But Bitcoin, significantly stronger than what we're experiencing here in Ethereum. And if you want to look at this from a daily, it's not good when you break out like that and then eventually you just kind of give back over the weekend. You just give back the majority of that move. So maybe it's going to be a mistake, maybe not. We'll wait and see. As long as we don't crack this, then we'll be okay. And they're further dated. I'm talking these are like March expiration cycles. So yeah, I'm going to continuously hold on to that. Softy popping. Yeah, MSFT. Is it popping?
Popping.
I don't know is that an actual ticker or
MSFT is I guess I don't know. MSFT is kind of dropping.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. Yeah, but he says SOFTEE number soft T, but I'm saying this is the short signal right there on that name 513.49, and then now you're down about 20 cents or so from that specific level. So yeah, not too bad of a look. I think that it's a sell signal in my opinion. I don't know if that's an actual ticker in which you're pointing out. But Adair, what do you got for us?
Meta dropping here a little bit. We do have China's cyberspace regulator saying that China's going to be reviewing and approving the tech export related to TikTok in accordance with the law. We know that We've had China and U.S. both saying that they've reached the framework for a TikTok deal, which has been a very long time coming. META, again, on watch. Your China cyberspace regulator or official from that body is saying that China's going to be reviewing and approving this tech export related to TikTok. Back to you.
Yeah, you call it a reversion on that one, right?
Yeah. It's seen the signal, man. It's essentially what I seen at the look. Okay, let's compare these two kind of, and you can see the similarities. This is always what I'm looking for, right? It's pattern recognition. Why was I long on Tesla? Indecision print, bang. Why was there a potential short? Maybe indecision print. No outstanding volume, right? You don't get that isolated volume print. Oh, yeah. But I mean, there you go. That print at the high, and then sure enough, I don't know if you're going to get to VWAP on this. I think that would be a bonus, Obi, considering how strong the market is today. But yeah, we're not going to complain about that. Let's go IBIT and let's go crypto space.
When you say isolated volume print, you mean like that high volume node, like on the chart, like exactly. On the breakout that we just saw on what was this? The Tesla on the push. You got some strong volume, I think.
I think was it on the 1 million? Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah,
okay, so like something like that.
This would be isolated relative to what it is, right?
So it's just like an outlier. It's just standing on its own, like a strong volume bar.
Exactly. Yeah. So when you correlate the two, so like if you have one of those indecision prints and a high volume, that just adds a little bit of more probability within the setup. So that's just 100%. What I keep my eyes out for.
I love that. I love that. And again, we all have different names for different kinds of actions and stuff. Exactly. But yeah, no, I like that. High volume, what'd you call it? High volume?
An isolated volume.
Isolated volume.
Yeah, isolated volume.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I look for those all the time. It's good for continuations, right? I've talked about them before as well. It's just
it's even great for bottom picking too, right? Like if you have that
capitulation more often than not has a volume.
Yeah, we call it stop. It's classified as stopping volume, I guess, as in the book it's written. I'm not classifying it. So yeah, it's stopping volume. You have that extreme low. Anna Cooley.
Okay.
Yeah, you read that.
No, I've read it a long time ago.
So there's like igniting volume in what we would see on the Tesla. Ignites, boom, decides to go ripping. Then we have stopping volume when it's at an extreme low. You have those hammer prints and you have that isolated print on the volume as
like a playbook, you can everyone can look at a breakout or a breakdown or a daily breakout or something. But if we all have different names for it, you can get creative with it.
Exactly.
I think we have some pretty creative names for some of this stuff. I'm working on something right now that's called Eater, which is just something that's just an extended, reversion kind of trade. And it's fun to kind do that, right? It kind of gets you involved. Come up with your own name.
Exactly.
I like that. I like that a lot. So. But yeah, no. Throw it up in the chat. Do you guys have any, unique or specific, names or titles that you give to the types of setups or types of price action, like we call lick grabs, right? Lick grabs, some people call it, it's a stop hunt. Some people call lick grabs stop hunts. Whatever you want to call them. It's I call it isosceles volume. Nice. that's funny. Yeah.
What does he say?
Okay. All right. Faux hammer. Let's calm down. All right. So Amazon is bidding right back up.
Oh man.
Bidding right back up 233. So okay, now it's the time. It's like, all right. Do I want to look for a lower high? The market is bidding up as well. So I'm really asking myself this question. We had that strong push, and this was, again, isolated volume. Candle right there on Amazon through that 232 break, and then we're getting a little bit of a pullback here. So I'm asking, is this a little bit of exhaustion? I don't know yet. But we'll see. I got out of my scalp there on Tesla. Again, Tesla's not really doing anything too crazy. We saw the push through that 423. Hasn't really gone anywhere, but now we're kind of holding a little bit above VWAP. So maybe maybe some things are starting to change on this name as we start to consolidate and build. I really like that lick grab failure to follow through of that 415 as well. And we saw strength and volume coming in off of that false breakdown as well. So the buyers definitely showing a little bit of themselves there. Donnie Zimbo in the chat. Thank you for the super chat here. 592 calls expiring 916 on the queues. Really want to pull the trigger.
Pull it then. What do you have to say about that? Well, for me personally, if you're thinking about it, just take the shot. At the end of the day, was TXN one of my best setups for a swing trade? Absolutely not, but I would have been more mad at myself not taking the trade than what I am and it working and then me taking a $500 loss, right? Like, I'm equally as mad at the fact that I took also a $200 loss on freaking Juan Silva getting knocked out 13 seconds. Whoa. Bro, you had 13 seconds to survive and not run into a spinning elbow, and then
all it takes, man.
Yeah, all it takes. It's literally, I'm like, man, this
is not over till it's over.
Not over until it's over, man.
Not over till it's over.
But no, in all seriousness, if you really like the trade, then take it by all means. 592, you're not giving yourself much time. That's 0 DTE or 1 day till expiry. So again, if you like it, just take it. Don't live with no regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets, as they like to say. But Adara, what do you got for us?
We're going to start here by talking about the Gemini IPO. Now, that obviously happened yesterday, but it is in the crypto space. And as you can see, it's not doing too much today. Now, here are the Winklevis, they're sometimes referred to as both of them, the Winklevoss twins, Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss, co-founders of Gemini. This was them ringing the bell here on IPO day at the Nasdaq. They did, the stock was up 14% from, where it opened, or it's 40% on Friday. They did raise $4 to $25 million through their IPO. So it opened here at $37.01, which was about 32% above the IPO price of $28. Now, as Neil has talked about a lot, and as we've talked about on the show in general, a lot of times IPOs will be considered big successes as long as they have that close or even sometimes the open above the expected IPO price. So with that in mind, even though the stock doesn't look so good, this was still viewed as a success for the Winklevi and for Gemini as a whole. Let's talk here about Bitcoin. BTC running into some resistance here. As you can see, around that 116,700 level, we did previously climb over the past resistance around 113.4. Let's see if we're able to do this. But right now, that's a bit of a double top on the daily, at least in the shorter term, at that level. Ethereum, we'll take a look at Ethereum on a 3-day losing streak, though they do have, we do have some support here around that 4,200 level for Ethereum. We'll take a look at Solana. Solana actually continuing to look a little bit better, at least on the daily chart, than some of these other crypto names. Higher highs and higher lows, but this one making a bit of a topping tail yesterday and its second day of pulling back. So really mixed look across the crypto space, guys. Back to you.
Amazon's coming in a little bit, but we did break down. So it kind of following through with what I was looking for the most part there on Amazon. But yeah, I gotta be a little bit wary here. This is what we were looking for. I was like, all right, clean downtrend there, but I'm waiting for a pop. Guess what? I missed the pop into 233s, and I see it kind of getting weak with the market here as well. So I'm going to take a little bit of a curl down as well, a little nice little confluence for the downside there. Let's see if we can get a bit of a travel towards VWAP. That's sitting here at 231.84. So a bit of a reversion coming into play. We did break the structure, but the bid's coming in right away, right off of it. So I saw a bit of stalling happening underneath that 232 halves. So I covered a decent chunk there, just left with that last little bit of action. Again, it's not perfect. I would have preferred to be in up here at that 233s, but I'm not paying as close attention to it as I'd like to, but sizing down a little bit and then taking the follow through when I'm seeing those sellers step in and removing liquidity on the way down. I like that. Happened to work out. Got a little lucky there. 421's starting to look a little bit, or 422 starting to look a little bit, I guess, into the bid here, a little weak as the market attempts a bit of a curl back to the downside. So let's see what we got on in store for us here in terms of some of the other names. Let's see some of these chip names. I know some people are asking what is going on with Intel this morning, and I was like, oh boy, Intel. I do not have eyes on that one. There, where is my other one? There we go. Boom. Let's take a quick look at Intel. Wow, Softy holding up quite well, even though that Quadung. All right, so Intel, nice push. I kind of missed what the catalyst on this one was, and if Amazon's going to come right back, then I'm going to piece off just a little bit more there. But yeah, no. VWAP pullback holding as of right now here on Intel. So that's one of the chips that's, I guess, had some strong volume. Nice expanding volume off of the open as well. I really like that. But holding that $25 area on Intel as of right now. I wonder if this was like an hourly or daily breakout here as well. Let's take a quick look at the daily chart to see if that came in. Kinda, not really. You can see it did break out of this, but that's 24.94. We're pretty much right there. The bid coming in all the way 24.30s this morning on Intel. So nothing too crazy there. Excuse me. Let's see what else there is. AMD. I know AMD was pretty strong last week. Coming into that 160 level. Yeah, there you go, 160 halves, a bit of a double top, 160 40s specifically. We come into that area once again today, off of the open, sellers step right back in, and now we've made a bit of a higher low relative to some of those prior weeks' prices. I'm questioning whether or not we finally get a distinct break and push on this AMD as well. But yeah, let me know what you guys are trading. Aura Alpha in the chat saying Oracle volume. Yeah, Oracle was one of my top stocks in terms of earnings on the day today. Day 3 earnings on Oracle. I was honestly looking for a bit of a continuation, but I knew on day 3 what like the likelihood of a strong continuation after 2.5 almost aggressive days of selling. I guess today is day 4, not day 3. Sorry. So day 1, day 2, day 3. I was looking for more of that continuation coming into day 4, not really happening. But guess what? The pop happens. Sellers stepping right back in here at that 308. I think 308 was prior day high. Yeah, 307.86. So just shy of that 308. Sellers stepping in right where they were on in and around those levels on Friday on the day today. So we only pulled back to 300. We're holding that well. We're trading back at VWAP as of right now. But the market is just kind of stalling here, Joe. So absolutely. I don't know, a little indecisive. Again, this is a 15-minute chart here on the Nasdaq. If you kind of push that in and compress it into like an hourly, you can see we're just kind of dojiing here on some of the higher time frames as of right now. So I'm going to be patient. I'm looking for a potential continuation here on Amazon. We did bid right back up, but let's make some lower highs for a potential continuation. It's not going to be clean, but there is a clean reversion that I am seeing that I did miss here on TSM. But some of these clean ones, you don't have much time. It's the thing. Some of the best trades, some of the best prices, you're not going to have much time. Price will not stick around at areas of value for not necessarily a long time.
Yeah, very, very, very good point, Jag. It was telling me that bulletin was about MEMEX options. They're having some execution, so I think they're suspended momentarily. That's what I got. I don't know if anybody else got that notification, but yeah, that's what I got on that one. We're still sitting in this IBIT and in this Tesla trade. Are we going to be looking for a reload? I don't know. I think we missed that just south of the volume weighted average price. If we can get IBIT to break through this key resistance zone, I mean, what happened on Friday can definitely happen again today. So that would be absolutely bomb if it did, considering, right? So you can see this nice consolidation, boom, and then you break, and then you're just on a monster run to the top side. Now you pull back the majority of that. Well, you give back more than that, the move that you experienced on Friday, and then now you're at the lows. So just kind of chopping around. So getting in at the lows, selling the tops maybe until if and when you do get that breakout. But what are we going to be keeping an eye on? Boom. We want to watch that volume profile to make sure that it steps in, and that can add a little bit more conviction within our trades there. My guy, we talked about APLD today. I'll go rewind if so. Thanks, man. No, I didn't, Rook, my brother. I didn't APLD. I mean, this thing's been hot for us for some time. Pre-market was decent, right? But then it's kind of just moving sideways after that. So keep an eye on APLD. Daily, absolutely phenomenal. So really great look. Nice print there at the lows, and then continuing its grind to the top to the northeast there. So not too bad of a look. Hood trying to bust through the Cardi now. Okay, all right. Let's take a look at it right now on Hood. Is it breaking through that Miss B? Let's see. Oh, it's getting there. Volumes, oh, the print was there. Wow, what a beautiful signal. This thing's been doing this day after day. Gorev catches this one. Look, right? So this is just pattern recognition. Boom, my boy Gorev gets long. I remember this, you telling me this. Boom, get that move up there, and that's what we're looking for. And then sure enough this morning, identical to what you're experiencing from the previous session. So this is exactly what we're looking for. What happened today, I mean on Friday with IBIT, we're looking for it to happen again today. Is it going to? Only time will tell, all right? But some really good prints there at the lows on Robinhood, 114. I told you guys, even in my long term, I trimmed trimmed some. I was lucky. I trimmed some at 120, and I'm just sitting on a little bit of cash right now because we were up pretty good on that one, so I'm thankful for that. But my latest losses have been on Micron, the chip space, man. We might have to stop trading that there, Obi. It has been Micron and TXN as of recent. Gaurav, I saw that as well, but I was not at that level I wanted. But yeah, now on the hourly hood, looks like a big liquid happening. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. For my good friend Classy Wayne, for sure, we can most definitely take a look at IONQ. This thing's on a multi-day breakout. We have those levels marked out here, previous all-time high, and then you also punch through some key resistance zones right there, and off to the races goes IONQ there, OB.
Yeah, that IONQ move is absolutely wild, man. I'm just like, it finally kind of, where is it? It finally kind of started to push last week, right? There's a bigger picture kind of thing happening here where we're breaking out of all-time highs, right? So last week, solid trade there, nice breakout. I think let's take a look at the daily chart and see how this is starting to unfold here on IONQ. I just remember like it was yesterday, coming into the end of 2024, where a lot of these stocks started going crazy in this sector here, and yeah, pushing much higher. But now finally took almost a whole year of chop and pullback and consolidation, but we made it all the way back with a low of 1788, currently trading at 58.67. So this was the daily chart on Friday, up 18.19%, almost just above 18% of a push on Friday on IONQ that took us through that prior high at 54.74. Now we're just, I guess, roughly about $4 away from that as of right now here on IONQ. Nice little continuation. Let's look at the 5-minute chart here. Opening range, it did try to break, but we're consolidating on top of VWAP and holding well right now with a high a day at 59.16. So IONQ, pretty solid push there on that one. Amazon's coming right back in, but I have a lot less as of right now. Let me know what you guys are trading in the chat. I'm more than welcome to take a look at some of these stocks. Again, in the middle of the day, I'm already probably in a lot of stocks or watching a lot of stocks I already want to keep eyes on. So I don't really have much in order in terms of trades, right? I'm just like I'm obviously not looking at the whole market, but in the limited set basket that I'm looking at, nothing too crazy is happening. There goes the Nasdaq through high a day. The question becomes, will the ES follow along in suit of the Nasdaq? That's the one. NVIDIA is the strongest stock in the market, or in the Mag 7 as of right now. Pushing fresh highs, 177.40s. We got a little bit of that news coming in right off of the 4 a.m. open. A little bit of a QQQ there, and beautiful reversion happening. 172.50 lows in the pre-market session, but it was already doing significant relative volume in the pre-market session. 3.5 times. That dwindled down. You can see here that structure held really well. This structure from 8 a.m., from 7 a.m. To 8 a.m., those structure lows held really well as the opening range low, as a little bit of a double bottom later on around 10:10, and then we're off to the races there, a little bit of a reversion back towards prior day's close in and around 177s, 178s on NVIDIA. So a bit of a reversion happening there, maybe on a higher time frame, maybe the hourly there on NVIDIA. So I like that. I'm watching, nothing too crazy just yet. We talked about a potential reversion here on Microsoft, but I'm just like, I'm gonna let it do its thing. It is pretty strong on the day here, and it's just grinding up a little bit. So unless and until I get like a significant push higher, a failure to follow through, some sort of like exhaustive action, I don't necessarily want to get involved. But we'll see. The trend is very much intact here on Microsoft. Amazon's the only one I'm interested in as of right now, to be honest. Okay. I'm waiting for it to maybe potentially pull back into VWAP if it'll have me. If not, that's perfectly fine. Where is the next trade? That's what I'm asking. That's pretty much what I'm getting at as of right now. So let us know in the chat. Watching NVIDIA, watching some Amazon. Maybe there's something else.
There most definitely will be something else there, Obi. Obviously, just got to stay nimble, keep your eyes on the prize and see what else is going on. Be patient and wait for that key setup. All right, guys, let's talk about what we got going on IBIT. As soon as I seen this, I'm like, oh, should I just get out break even? And I think I'm going to here. Take a little bit of a loss on this one. This is not good news. You don't want to see this inverted hammer candle above the volume weighted average price. That's not what you want to see. Considering I also added into it as well. We doubled it up, but we're still relatively small. I'm not going to be kind of grouping into it like I was the day before, because again, just pushing too much size and just staying uncomfortable. I mean, it doesn't, sometimes like when you just consistently, sorry, what I'm trying to say here is that I was building in too aggressively, and with that being said, it made it a little bit more difficult for me to execute the plan, and then we missed out on a big time breakout, so I'd rather be a little bit smaller and be involved in the right trade. And then if it's really starting to work out, oh, that's early. I thought it was early, Neil.
Yeah, my alarm is going off here.
Hey. Oh, was that your? I thought that was the bell.
No, the bell is going off as well.
Okay,
I usually have a 11:45 alarm to be like, all right. Well, I'm not that nice to myself. I'm just like, all right, time to get up and go for a walk. Because usually, it's just like something I put in place.
Yeah.
Whether I'm in a trade or not, there's been times where I'm locked in, hyper focused. That's probably not in a good position.
Yeah.
More often than not, if I'm actually doing that, I'm not like kind of relaxed.
Yeah. I feel you.
But I put on an alarm there because I'm like, usually if I'm in a pretty bad position, I'm probably holding it past this time. And I just put an alarm. I'm like, all right, that's enough. Get up, whether you're in a trade or not. I think it's good to kind of remind yourself to keep taking breaks, especially if you're grinding the open and you're sitting and watching throughout the day and things like that. You're looking for multiple trades. It's good to take a bit of a breather here. Don't worry, chase the packs. It's not going to be a 20-minute story about my alarm, but I can make it a 20-minute story if you want me to. You're really going to push for it.
Go on it.
You know what I mean?
Go on
if you don't want to hear it, here. Don't forget, I like my reversion. So if you tell me something, I might very well just revert that message.
Ooh.
Gotta be careful.
So we can go on all day about certain
reversion.
Things. There, guys. All right, Bitcoin not working out too well for us. We'll hold on to it until we break that low of the day. We have to accept our position now. That's our stop. I don't want to get out of prematurely in this chop, just in case we do get that breakout. 1 minute print, not that convincing. To the individual who's saying, hey, why aren't we looking at AUKLO this morning? We can't have our eyes on everything, my friend. But I'm glad that you mentioned it because it is looking pretty good here throughout this day. Hopefully this closes as a 5 and you get the continuation. But again, there is some signals here that say, hey, we're slightly toppy, and I'm seeing them in the Nasdaq, but I'm not even thinking about shorting it right now because my accuracy shorting the overall market is just horrendous. So we'll avoid that for now. I had something that I wanted to tell you guys, but in the meantime, let's take a look at the top performing sectors on the day to see what we got going on. I'll delete that there, get off of X, and then we'll see who's the best in the business this morning, and that is going to be, ladies and gentlemen, drum roll please, consumer discretionary, led by I Wonder Who. All right, and then in second place we have communication services up 1%, the tech sector up 0.6, and then in the bottom three, a little less defensive. You can see risk on here, guys. Materials down 0.5%, consumer staples down 0.75, and then you have the healthcare sector also down 0.8 as well too. So let's see what we got going on. Let's go IBIT, make that additional leg higher, Tesla, and let's just put it on an all-day grinder in this name because the market seems like it wants to do that for sure, OB.
Yeah, just you gotta make sure you're watching the market at the same time. Market giving us a little bit of strength and market specific as well. You can see the ES is not relatively strong as the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq's actually pushing for highs. So again, I'm looking at the Mag 7. Guess who it is? Who's the culprit? It's NVIDIA. Don't look any further. NVIDIA is the one that is carrying this bit of a bid, especially on the Nasdaq here. So let's take a quick look at NVIDIA here. Pulling back into some of those prior days levels. Guess what? A little bit of an overextension? Of course. Am I looking for a reversion? Of course. Is it ready? Absolutely not. This is very much bidding up right now. So I want to be there and observe the dissipation of the bid potentially. You can see here 4 a.m. That's the reference point. So that's what I'm looking at here. 178.63 highs is that high from the 4 a.m. candle. That's where we had some of the strongest volume in the pre-market, and then we kind of settled down after that. You can see relative volume as well, pretty high, 9 times relative volume on the 4 a.m. candle there on NVIDIA. So bit of a break back through this double bottom that happened across Thursday and Friday in and around 176 halves. That happened to be opening range high as well. So coming into the open, if I'm looking at this just from a purely technical perspective, I'm just like, all right, well, we rejected this double bottom from the past two prior trading days at that 176 half. So maybe I'm positioning short, seeing that sellers are already showing themselves off the 4 a.m. candle, looking for the same kind of, I guess, participants to step in, which kind of happens there right off of the open, and once again there. But this nice chop consolidation on VWAP, guess what? If any of those sellers are still sitting in those positions, thinking, oh, technically this held, and I'm going to risk on a back through 176.70s, guess what? Those are the players getting absolutely rocked right now as we push up on an extended move through the high. We pull back, failure to follow through on the pullback back into opening range highs, step up, step up, step up. So yeah, a little bit of a squeeze action potentially happening here on NVIDIA as it reverts back into some of those prior weeks closing levels. Prior weeks high, you may ask, 180.27. So we're not that far away here from those highs there. 178s trading on NVIDIA right now. So pretty crazy move, a little distinctly different from some of the rest of these Mag 7s, but I'm starting to see a bit of a curl happening here and there. So I'm going to be a little bit wary on this this AMZN short and continue to kind of scope out some opportunities here in the market. Again, tech is strong, so whether it's the Qs, whether it's SMH, whether it's NVIDIA that you're trying to look into, all those specific names pretty strong here. What's going on in there?
Keep an eye here on J&J, Johnson & Johnson, not reacting too much to this, but Josh Brown speaking positively about this one on CNBC, calling it a long idea because they are in the midst of, quote, a massive transition, and apparently they've already identified and executed on a few of their main goals. J&J, Josh Brown, long idea. Back to you.
Stuff, yeah. I haven't even really looked at it too much today, Katina, man, but I'm going to pull it up right now. And this is what I was talking to Charlie Taff in the chat with. Like, it's so hard to short the overall market when you have NVDA just doing this. See you later to that. Whatever this candle was, boom, off that news. Yeah, okay, that's irrelevant essentially in NVDA's world. Now punching through those pre-market highs, so it's looking pretty good there, guys, on NVDA. And it's just too tough to short the Qs when you have the likes of NVDA doing that. Let's see what some of the other big names up to. Google's super strong out of the gate, starting to come back in there. What's our good friend Meta been up to? Zuck and Company. Pardon me?
I usually miss that one. I don't really Meta? Take. Yeah, I'm always missing Meta on the mag, like I guess.
Yeah,
rundown. It's just
like
because it's much higher price.
Yeah, exactly.
When it moves, man, it moves.
Yeah, it moves, man. Oh, yeah. That's for sure, man. When I move, you move.
Just like that?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with this name. I don't know if it's necessarily like one of those fan intraday favorite trading names, just considering, right, obviously the price of it. Zuck decides to do a split. I'm surprised because it's never split in the history of the name. So I'm going to be looking forward to that because I think a lot of more people were going to get involved with it. And I think in the likes of Netflix as well, too. I know a couple of earnings reports ago, they were saying that they wanted to kind of hit that $1 trillion market cap. I think it would help a lot more if you do get that split. Maybe you get some more of the retail names involved, individuals involved. So, yeah, not too bad. Oracle's going crazy. Let's take a look at that. My good friend Stevenson, ORCL, what are you up to? I mean, in the pre-market it was. Now it's pre-market it's cooled off. I mean, intraday it's cooled off. Pre-market it was going nuts there for sure. And I mean, this thing had a big time move.
Strong of that catalyst as well.
The earnings report.
No, the earnings report, yes, yeah. But also this morning the catalyst with the whole ByteDance bid and everything.
Oh yeah. So not too bad of a look there. But yeah, guys, we're still sitting in this IBIT trade to see if we can get a break. We are starting to form some lower highs, which is something that we need to be alarmed about here. Boom, if we can sit on the backside of this trend, then I think we'll be okay there, Obi.
Yes, sir. I love sitting on that backside when it does come in, and Tesla backside might be coming in here as of right now. We failed to follow through that 423. So the question becomes, Joe, this thing is just chopping sideways. So do we either bag along and be like, all right, I'm going to wait for that consolidation to break out, or we see that it's ranging, do we just play the range? That's the question I'm asking right now. I don't know what the right answer is. The Qs are breaking out. The ES is not as relatively strong. So the question becomes, if it's NVIDIA that's literally one of the only ones that's leading the way, when that bid dissipates, I want to know what happens to some of these other stocks that are holding relatively weaker. Something like a Tesla, which is sideways. Something like, let me see what else is a little bit sideways. Something like another Tesla, no. Softy, which is kind of strong as well. So Softy leading the way as well, a little bit alongside of NVIDIA. But again, NVIDIA being the leader and a much higher market cap as well. Leading the way. I can safely say that, sure, NVIDIA and Microsoft are the ones. Apple as well, with a little bit of a curl happening here. So let's see if that can potentially come into its high a day. Let's take a quick look at Apple here. Apple, strong wicks off of the open. And this is what I love about some of the higher time frames here, whether you're looking at a 15-minute, this is a 5-minute, but if I know for a fact, if I look at a 15-minute, the top wick on this candle is going to be pretty nasty right here. You can see that nice little push coming in, and the candle going back through its opening price here at 237s for a nice flush all the way down. 235 hold was quite nice, but yeah, a little bit of a creep all the way back up. The question becomes, are we going to be able to bid right back up and through some of this aggressive selling and those sellers that came in right off of the open? We talk about some of the strongest volume and some of the larger participants participating in and around the open and the close. So when we see some significant action on a name like Apple like that right off of the open, especially after we did 2 times relative volume in the pre-market, yeah, maybe you get a little bit of continuation. You can see shorter time frames, 3-minute. Those wicks don't really show up on the 3-minute. We kind of stalled 238s and then we dunked. But when you look at a 5-minute or a 15, those sellers become a little bit more obvious there on the chart itself. I'm sure if you're watching the tape, it's a whole different story. I'm sure you saw those coming in way before the chart confirmation was there as well. So yeah, that's what I got on watch here in terms of the Mag 7. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought Sean was talking to me for a second. 250 back through on Apple. So sorry, on Alphabet. So Google right here coming back into its VWAP right here. So I liked it for the reversion, for the push back through, but it held 248s quite well. Look at that nice flat base there here on a 5-minute chart as the market attempts to break fresh highs. Google turning around VWAP. So Google, another one that's relatively flat as well.
Yeah, great looks there, guys. Obi, I'm curious how everyone's Monday morning is going so far. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to put our symbols in the chat. For me personally, this is how it's going, right? That's how we started. So you guys see it in the chat right now. Ooh, I don't want to zoom in on that. So you see in the chat, so go ahead, put out how your day is, red, green, flat, whatever it may be. I'm curious to what the majority of you guys are up to, and hopefully everyone's having a fantastic morning regardless. Guess what? We got tomorrow, as I mentioned. So yeah, get those symbols in there, engage in the chat, and then also we're going to make sure you vote as well, right? So make sure you guys want to vote. Sorry I missed your super chat. We're going to go over that right now, my friend. So that's going to go to our boy, Party P. Shout out Party P, and shout out Skateboard P as well, too. Congrats on the Tesla trade. Thank you very much. And then, yeah, let's take a look at UNH for our boy here. UNH, bang, bang, and see what it's up to. I mean, for the past little while off of these lows, it's been fantastic. I think that you can continue this grind. I think at some point this gap is going to get filled, so keep an eye out for that. And then sure enough, yeah, I think that's it for now. I mean, you got to wait a ways for it to enter this gap, if it ever will again. I don't know. I truly don't know. Only time will tell. But I think we're going to fill the majority of this gap here. As you can see, we're opening up lower. You do get about exactly 50% of that. And then now you want to wait for that soft gap fill. Hard gap fill will be at that wick high. So keep an eye out on that one. Curious to how everyone's day is going. We're going to take a look to see if you guys were participating on that. Bang, we got a lot of green, avocado green. I like that one. So yeah, thank you guys for participating. Option, okay, green to red, crypto holdings. Yeah, I know it's been ugly so far this morning. But hey, just be patient. I think we're going to get rolling. I could be obviously totally wrong on that front in the fact that, like, hey, come FOMC, we know that we're getting 25. If it comes in at 50, then watch out for the space in general to probably take a move higher. But again, only time will tell, and I don't want to be like, hey, go buck wild and start grabbing things hand over fist just because, right? So got to think, as Katina Man said, this morning, you got to put on your own trades. Mirror trading only lasts for so long. Did I get something in my ear there?
No, I didn't.
No. All right, I'm just hearing things now. Okay, wow, Obi, that's not good.
I want to speak on that a little bit. I definitely agree with that point. There's a lot of copy trading that I'm hearing about, and that happens, right? I get it. It's a good pathway to learn. You're following along. You're following a trader that is very well experienced and verified or whatever. But you don't know what the plan is. You don't know what plan the trader has. You don't know what their risk limits are. You don't know what their risk appetite is. You don't know what their stats are, what kind of losses or what kind of wins they can sustain over time. You don't know what their account looks like. So how can you actually copy trade them? You have all of these other aspects of the trade that you're missing. You're not actually copy trading. You're just taking the same execution.
You have to take into consideration the lag in the stream as well too. So like when you see us getting in, chances are you're already a little bit behind. And if you're like, oh, they're involved in this, and you try to do that, you don't have the same plan as one, and you're probably not going to have the exact same entry. Can I tell you one thing though? My first day ever live trading. Yeah. So I was trading sim mode for 3 months, I think, before I even touched live, which I would, if you can go small risk, just start with that. Go like $5-10. Avoid that, in my opinion, so you just get the feel of what it's like to put real money on. But anyways, what I was getting at is that my first ever trade, I did that. I mirror traded somebody, made like $40, and I'm like, I'm off to the races.
This is easy.
Yeah, I'm off to the races. And sure enough, that's not necessarily the case. But guys, we're going to Adara, and then Neil with his lesson of the day.
Great push here for Nasdaq. Speaking of being off to the races, the Nasdaq certainly is. Good look here for the QQQs. It's worth noting here, not a ton of economic data today. We did have at 9:30 a.m. 8:30 a.m. the New York Fed Manufacturing Index, a little bit lower here than expected. But again, we're all waiting for, from an economic data perspective, that meeting on Wednesday, the U.S. interest rate decision. We are expecting very highly expecting a 25 basis point cut, though there are some people expecting a 50 basis point cut. But either way, it does not seem like we're going to get a rate hold. Excuse me, I want to talk about Google for a second. Google's had a fantastic day. Just reposted this infographic on X at TTV Research, so you can look back at this company's awesome run. But great look for Alphabet, new all-time highs, and reaching that $3 trillion market cap milestone. Take a look at META as well. Meta's been on watch as of these Chinese ADRs, as we get a lot of talk here from these China and U.S. trade talks. Now, we did have quite a few people from the Trump administration and then later the China trade negotiation team saying that they have agreed on a framework, apparently, that's going to be switching to a U.S.-controlled ownership for TikTok. We also had, afterwards, Scott Bessent, who is, again, U.S. Treasury Secretary. He said that the goal is to keep the quote-unquote Chinese characteristics of the app while having better national security. So it seems like they still want to keep the essence of what made TikTok, while making it safer, I guess, for the U.S. So interesting look here for the TikTok deal. Back to you. And Neil and his lesson of the day.
Thank you very much there, Sean. Just sort of discussing the big desk there. You know, I'm going to pivot a little bit. And, well, first things first, looking at that Alphabet chart, how about the lesson of the day is when revenue charts look like that, buy the dips and don't worry too much about selling. Like, you sell things when they fall out of favor if it's a quality company. You just hold it forever, give it to your kids or whatever it is that you're going to do with it, or if you're Bezos or whatever, donate to charity. But, like, buy quality companies. The other thing that I'm going to do this quickly because I actually want to talk about the copy trading is a better lesson overall, because I think it was a really good discussion. But I just want to show something that I was going to talk about in general before this copy trading gave me a different idea. And that's when you have these big monster gap levels or big runs, could be an all-time high, could be like Oracle here where it had this monster breakout, and then you see the selling start to come in. Like, you get these awesome like liquidity points that can give you some great opportunities, because when it's price discovery, when a stock does this, it goes into price discovery mode, anything nonsensical, and then all of a sudden they have to figure out where it should be, and they is just the general market. Well, it told you the first significant price right in here on the close on Thursday, rejected the same area just underneath 310. And when you look at that big rally on the TikTok news, where did it come into before it turned? Right there. So if you're waiting for a short, it's like, well, there's nowhere else to trade. Like either it would be breaking down underneath like 290, or you're waiting for it to get up there. And if you're looking for a long, it's support until it's not. And what's the other trade that I would wager? Like this, like right in here, as it's breaking out that prior resistance. It shows you the hold there, and then it breaks this level out at 300 bucks. Okay, Neil, but you didn't take that trade. Well, because I liked it somewhere else. It's a similar concept with Robinhood. Robinhood, and again, it's not necessarily news, but it was making an all-time high and then failing the all-time high and trying to price adjust. After it failed the all-time high, you found support at 114, support at 114, support at 114. So right off the open, it holds 114. So I'm taking breakouts. I'm looking long from here to here. I'm looking for a long that breaks there to there. I probably would have, if it continued, I'd take a long and there to there. But once that loses, there's the other side of that coin. I'm willing to take it in the other direction through that other key price. If it holds, I'm looking longs over. If it breaks, I'm looking shorts underneath. Whenever I say over under, that's just the idea that I want the breakaway in either direction. And the crazy thing about it is, even though they both work, neither one of them even followed through. Like to me, this had opportunity to go $4 or $5. This had opportunity to drop $4 or $5, but you just take the scalp trade. It's more about finding that price discovery level and making sure you're transacting in that particular point, because when you make an all-time high break or a stock goes parabolic, when it shows you levels on the way back in, those are the ones to transact at. Now, going to this copy trading, because I think it was a really good discussion, all I will say is this. When I graduated as a trainee on the trading floor, there was the office moved from one location to another. There were several in Toronto, and a bunch of the full-time traders went to the other location, which was more convenient. It was closer to the prior one before. So it ended up, when we were at the new location, the recent graduates were like the veterans on the trading floor. So myself and another trader who had graduated from our class were two of only 3 full-time traders at the time. And then a couple of other guys graduated, and one of them did so by moving to our row and sitting next to us. I think that was a smart thing. We were the 2 guys that were kind of new and veterans and making some money, so he sat next to us and picked our brains and actually ended up sort of doing what we were doing in copy trading. But the problem was twofold. One, when there were subtle adjustments in the strategy or the way the stocks were trading, he had no idea how to adjust the strategy. And 2, it's all well and good to take executions. Oh, I'm going to get in here. Oh, that's a good long, and then take profits out, and everything is fine. When the trade was wrong, he had no idea what he was doing. Because when myself or the other trader would put a trade on, we have an idea of our risk parameters. You know, it's when you, like if I take a breakout trade, I'm saying, well, I like the long through 116, this breaking out here. Okay, that's well and good, but I have my stop. I'm taking 2/3 out here, and I have my stop at like 25 pennies. So it's a relatively tight stop, and I'm scalping out rather aggressively early. You could take that same 16 long, and you get it all out and do better for a scalp trade. You can get none out and put the stop at VWAP and lose a boat. Or you could hold it to the pre-market low and lose an even bigger boat, all with the same execution. And it comes down to, like, a trade isn't just, okay, well, I like to get in at that particular point. Like, it's an entire get in, where is my out, where am I taking profit? Because you could also, here's the other way you could look at this. Let's say you took, I'll give a more extreme example. Let's say you like short in Robinhood, which obviously would have worked. So let's look at short through the prior day close. That's down here at $115. So trader A could go short at 115 and say, I'm going short at 115 and I'm holding to this high, 117, and I'm risking $2 and I'm holding all day. So that's one trader. And you'd be 115 and it never breaks 117 and they could be holding all day and they would have gotten better than 1-to-1 as it came down to 112 once, and they could still be holding that trade. Trader 2 could take the same trade through 115, say I'm getting out if it breaks through the pre-market high. They take an L. Now that's the same exact entry point. They just have completely different stops and different risk parameters. And another trader could say, I'm taking 115 every time it goes. They take the 115, probably lose here. They take the 115 here, win. They take the 115 here, win. They take the 115 here. Have a good one, brother. Have a good one, brother. And then they take it 3 times. Sean's just leaving for the day. He'll be back tomorrow. They take the 115 3 times as a scalp trade, and they go 3 for 3. So it's not, like the way I look at it is the traders that have the ability to have an overall strategy, which is I'm getting in here, this is my out, this is where I'm taking profit, it goes against me this much, this is my out, I'm taking profit at this point. That's an entire trade. You can't necessarily copy that without all of it. And to the other point, just to go back to the extreme trader here, the one that's taking the 115 and holding it $2 against, here's an important factor for that. If you took, let's say you took this, it goes red, I'm taking 115, but I'm giving it to 117. If you're short here and giving it $2, you really have to ask yourself what your exit plan is in terms of taking profit if you're giving it a $2 stop. Because if you're taking shares out here, when risking $2, to the point where half of your shares are out before it even gets to $2, when you're risking $2, that's a bit of a problem. Because overall, your risk to reward is a little bit skewed. And that's where the nuance comes in. So the important thing, a lot of times when you're listening to other traders or observing key price levels, that's what they are. They are just key price levels to look for direction, to look for an idea, but ultimately the trade is a trade. One person might take a scalp trade, another person might take that and hold it to VWAP or hold it to the prior low, and there's no right or wrong answer. There are a million times where I'll get out here, see VWAP hold, and it goes. Or a million times I'll get out here, it bounces there, and I never get back in. That's just part of trading. But you have to have your own execution strategy around those key prices, and we can all learn from each other, no questions asked. But you do have to have your own trading plan. You do have to have your own execution parameters. And the best thing you can try to do is learn from other traders, learn from where the key price areas are, learn from the manner in which they try to execute or what they look for in execution strategy, what they look for routes, and then just incorporate it into your trading style. But you've got to find your own, because ultimately no one's going to hit the keys except for you. And if you don't have your own plan, it's hard to be confident in it. If you're just copying somebody else, what's going to give you that edge or the confidence to be in a position if it's just somebody else's idea and you're not so sure of the reason to get out? It's just like, oh, someone else put a stop at that level, so I'm going to put it there. You'll never really have confidence in that way, as you will when it's your own plan that you've been able to execute and can work. So there's your lesson of the day. Kind of a bit of a pivot because of the great discussion these guys were having about copy trading. Good luck, everybody, and what up, Meta?
I think there might be a little bit of news happening on Meta there, but yeah, a little bit of a bid coming in. But I like the lesson, man. It's just the trade is the trade. I love that. That's one of my favorite. The trade. If the trade is a reversion, the trade is the trade. Whether you, like, the market doesn't care about your average, the market doesn't care how you perceive it, whatever. For example, right here, this trend break reversion, I'm like, okay, the trade is the trade. If I'm gonna sit here and be like, oh, we've got a little bit of a bounce on 233s, but the bigger picture is like, okay, we're selling off. Or for example, like last week, I didn't do too well on the Tesla run. I tried to revert. I did take the initial long, and then afterwards I tried to revert it. But the trade is the trade. There is a higher time frame, multi-week, multi-month compression that's really breaking out. And if I'm trying to counter that, I have to understand that the real bigger picture trade that's going on is a higher time frame, like trend up. Sure, there might be opportunities along the way to take the counter, but that trade, that bigger trade, is the trade. Okay. Right, so you gotta remember that. You keep in mind what that is. Yeah, there's different ways to interpret that as well. But no, I really like that. And here's maybe an exercise, because like, yeah, you don't necessarily want to do some copy trading. So here's an exercise for those of you who maybe want a little bit of homework for today. Pick 1 or 2 trades. Right? Pick 1 or 2 trades. It doesn't have to be from us. It can be from anywhere today that you saw a trader that you look up to take, and then reverse engineer that trade. Think about, like, do a whole write-up. Be like, why do you think they got in where they did? Why did they get out where they did? What was the reasoning behind that? What the reasoning for their stock selection was? Why were they trading that stock specifically rather than another one? And as you build this stack or like database of all of these trades that you've looked into and kind of reversed engineers from these traders, then maybe you can start to see a little bit of the light and be like, all right, where is the edge? Where does it conform to the style that I like to trade with and things like that. So there's a little exercise for those of you who maybe want something a little bit more there. But yeah, no. I like that. I like that a lot, and I do that all the time. You said one of your first trades was a mirror trade, and I look at some of these trades that some traders that are much bigger than I am are taking, and I'm like, why did they take that? What put them into the swing? What was their analysis? Why did they get in where they got in? Right? Some of these entries you see absolutely crazy, and I'm just curious, how did that guy know where to get in?
Yeah, I like
to get in right there.
I like that a lot. We just kind of trying to dissect what they're doing, and break it down into simpler steps and see what's going on. We all know the basic saying, right? Like feed a man a fish, or give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, feed him for a lifetime. So essentially, that's what it is here, right? So it's a life skill, right? It takes a lot of time, but again, if you can just continuously work on it, and sure enough, you're giving yourself a skill that can most definitely last a lifetime. But there it is, guys. Obi and I were talking about volume prints earlier in the session, and sure enough, you get it stepping in on META here. This is what you want to see from a breakout standpoint, and then on these pullbacks, you want to see that profile start to cool down as well too. So a pretty good look in META. We're starting to cook up here in IBIT as well too. So we're starting to break out. Can we punch through some of these key resistance zones? Patience, patience, patience. Time will tell us. Time will give us that answer, no questioning that. Here it is, 1 second a day, I apologize. And there it goes. Once we break, sit on the backside, volume kicks in. I think we'll be all right. Maybe we can get a potential add in there as well too. I was telling Obi I want to get another add in the middle of my average there. So I'm not averaging down and I'm not averaging up, but I don't know if we're going to get that. Patience is the name of the game. Adara, what do you got for us?
I just want to address Meta. So there's no breaking news on this. Meta has been pretty volatile today, likely as we do, I guess, digest that TikTok deal. In case you guys missed it, both the US and China saying that they've kind of agreed upon a framework for a deal for TikTok, which would allow the social media platform to stay in the US. That is the only news I have seen with regards to META, and that's not breaking. We've heard about that throughout the day. So again, more context here for META. Eyes are on it because of this deal. I am not seeing any breaking news, but I will let you know, of course, if that does end up changing. Back to you.
Thank you very much. So yeah, a little bit of a shake and bake there happening on Meta.
Shake and bake, baby. Ricky Bobby. What'd you do over the weekend, Obi? Anything special? We did miss our guy Peter Tuchman was at
the money show. At the money show.
This guy.
I didn't even know. I was so lost in the sauce. Joe texted me Saturday morning. He's like, yo, are you at the money show? And I'm like, oh my god, I didn't even remember that was this weekend. Absolutely crazy.
That would have been a good one to see there. Good old Peter. That would have been pretty cool, I think, in my opinion, to see what he had to say.
He had 20-30 minute.
He had about a 20-minute. More than went on. You know how those guys, man. They'll probably go on a little bit longer. And
and there's Q&As. You can always catch him after the talk as well. So a lot of value there as well. So big miss.
Big time miss.
But I'm sure if we continue to kind of attend these events, we increase our probability of getting lucky and running into some special people.
Exactly.
Whatever. Lights out. Boy. It's party time now here in the studio.
And we're back
on. All right. If we can just increase the pace of that and throw on some techno, I think it's a vibe.
It's a party.
It's a vibe there as well. So, over the weekend I just chilled, hung out with friends, nothing too crazy.
Nice.
Just worked on some trading stuff as well, did some scans and looked at some material as well. So trading material. So that was basically my weekend. Nothing too crazy. Nothing off the chain. How about you?
Yeah, same. There's no off the chain for me this weekend. It was rest and relaxation.
I didn't even go out on Friday, bro.
Oh, yeah. I don't even go out anymore, man. I'm chilling out for a little bit. But anyways, guys, Beta Pro by Global X is bringing back its annual biggest winner simulated ETF trading competition, now with over $40,000 in cash prizes, including a 20,000 grand prize, all risk-free. It's free to enter and open to all Canadians. Trade with $100,000 in fantasy cash on the Webull platform, whether you're an experienced trader or just getting started. It's a chance to test strategies, build skill, climb the leaderboard. So you think you have what it takes to be the next biggest winner? Sign up today. Guys, it's free to enter and open to all Canadians. We got to check this out here. I might even take a little gander at it on that one. So let's see what we got going on. Beta Pro, not too bad by Global X. All right, so guys, let's take a look at some Bitcoin here. We are starting to chop around. Price is compressing. Hopefully we don't sit on the backside of this trend and we can punch through. Again, we're just looking for the continuation in what we were experiencing on Friday. We do get a pop up into 65.30s, but now we're starting to come back in. Is this going to be the opportunity for me to add? We got to keep an eye on the volume profile and also what we're experiencing on this 5-minute print. Because if the volume to the downside starts to pick up, I don't like this engulfing print already, then it might not be the most logical add. Now you open up on the backside of it there. Ethereum continuously rejecting the volume weighted average price. But I think I'm going to do it, right? I would rather just add a little bit here. Nothing substantial, another 20% or so, just in the middle of the average, to see if we can get that pop and break through that key resistance and then get the crypto space gets rocking and rolling. But Adair, what do you got for us?
I have a kind of an odd catalyst. If you were looking at the bottom of our screen earlier, you might have seen this mentioned, but we do have, I guess, on Rumble, Charlie Kirk's show, rest in peace to Charlie Kirk, is being hosted for the day by Vice President J.D. Vance. Now, again, this show is on Rumble, so Rumble announced it. CEO Chris Pavlovski now saying that this show, which went live at 12 p.m., is resulting in so much traffic and engagement that the company's live counter and chats cannot keep up. So Rumble apparently getting a lot of attention here, as we do have the episode of the Charlie Kirk show hosted by J.D. Vance, Vice President of the U.S. RUM getting a bit of a pop to the upside and a minor volume spike on that. About 3 million shares traded on the day. Back to you.
There, yeah, we got that ad that we're looking for. This is exactly what we want. Just trying to execute the plan in between our average, so we're not averaging down, we're not averaging up. So not too bad of a look there. Just another little small ad to see if we can get this breakout. I am front running it, right? So you did, again, like what I did on Friday, just got to learn from the mistakes. That's why you go over things. It's just don't build in so heavy. The volume does step in, and then when it does and it displays itself in the likes of Meta, you have to react within a split second. So hopefully that comes into play. If not, then we just take a small loss on this one, but we're still holding on to a green day via TSLL.
Yes,
and IONQ.
Sir. Yeah, no, IONQ was good, man. That second leg up was absolutely solid on IONQ. Again, I was looking for that bid to come in right off of the open, and it didn't do that, so I looked away. But that can be a little unfortunate sometimes because, again, you can be right about a trade, but it doesn't have to happen on your time frame, which makes you absolutely wrong. So again, that bid towards highs was nice, but we never really got a strong follow through on that IONQ, right? We did get a push all the way up to 59, so we get a nice, I guess, what was that opening range high? So 58.48. So this is what I mean. I was looking for that pre-market high to come in and hold and sustain right off the bat. Didn't see that, so looked away. But guess what? The bid does sustain 56s and then pushes up and then it holds this VWAP here for another leg a little bit higher. So the question becomes, do we continue? So far, higher highs and higher lows. Still technically, even though we're relatively sideways on the intraday, when you look at the breakout that's kind of happening, you see that strong push happening on Friday, a higher low on top of 53s, and then another higher low today on top of 56s, and a higher high at 59. So the structure and the price action is building up really nicely and quite well, to say the least, here on IONQ. I like that. A little bit of a pullback down here on Amazon. What is that initial wick low? That's the question I'm asking. What is that specific price? That's 230. 232.42, and 232.50 is currently trading on Amazon. So let's see how far it can get down. VWAP, although all the way down at 231.90, so a little bit of a travel to take. It's a little bit of a trip to take down into VWAP right there. So that, just Amazon right here.
Did you add into that?
So I stopped out of this because I was like, this is going to go sideways, and then it started to pop. I liked it. I started dabbling a little bit, and then it starts to get nice in the place. Remember, I was like, I like 233s. If it comes back here, I want to take a lot more. So here I got aggressive and covered right away because it stalled. Here I didn't get as aggressive, but I waited for it to come into an area where I think there may potentially be a decent probability of supply. And I start getting aggressive as supply starts showing itself. So that's the trade there happening on Amazon. Let's see if it can revert to VWAP. It's only about 40 pennies away now.
Amazon. All right, guys. Did you know that instead of risking your own money, you can now trade with someone else's capital? No more fear of losing, no more moving your stop loss too soon, and you actually get enough capital to make it worth your time. So you can aim for big profits, not just a couple of $100 a month. I like that. This is what the revolution called limited risk trading, and it's powered by Trade the Pool. This is how it works. Join Trade the Pool, hit the profit goals, keep 70% of the profits. Visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code now for 10% off. So there it is. Trim more Palantir, says my guy Gorev. I haven't even looked at Palantir this morning. Probably not the best idea for me personally, not looking at one of the stronger names in the overall market, but there's multiple signals, double bottom almost to the penny there on PLTR, now trading north of the volume weighted average price. What's our guy Hood up to as well? Let's take a look at this name, Robinhood. All right, so you did get to VWAP, now hovering around that specific level, and it's the same thing in the likes of our good friend IBIT. For now, that is, right? You know we could switch it up, Obi. It's our good friend now, but once it starts working out, we want no part of it, right? It's like that one bad friend you just got to weave out of your life. If it's not working, it's not working. And you get out of Dodge, you reassess the situation and look to get involved again. But it looks like it's going to take a hefty leg down here. Oh, my days. As long as we don't break these lows, then we'll be all right. We're going to hold on to it. Otherwise, I'm not wrong until then. And I don't want to just get out in the middle of the range, right? Because you just find yourself getting in, getting out quite often. Then, yeah, it's just not a good time. So just stick to the trade plan. Try not to micromanage. And that's why I'm not getting as aggressive as I was before. Yeah, Charlie, I'm glad that's working out for you. I'm glad it's working out for Obi as well, to the short on Amazon.
Bank City,
looking
indeed,
really good. Yeah, market's really coming back in here now.
Boy.
So keep that in mind there, guys.
Thank you.
To continue to take a little bit more off there, Obi. I hear Obi doing. Let's get that move into VWAP for our guy. Obi, there it is, Obi. There
it's pretty much at VWAP. It's 15 pennies away from VWAP. So am I going to ask for more?
Pretty much isn't there. Almost. All right.
I'm posted on top. You know, I'm playing a little bit of defense. I already played my offense on the way down, but on the way back in, or to cover, I am. Oh wow! Look at the sellers coming in on Tesla. Oh boy!
Aggressive.
Holy! So this was. I had the short at 423s here. I covered 421s on that chop. But look, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and then this is what I was talking about. Tesla's just chopping in the range. So do we play the range trade? And guess what? That range trade is coming into fruition. So let's see if the selling can come in a little bit more. That's maybe what I'm looking for. Low day coming in at that 414s and some change. We got that 415 lick grab as well earlier, and oh boy, you guys got to see some of this tape that's happening. You guys have it right here. So all my tape is colored, but for those of you who don't, let me fill you in. Yellow colored is anything in between. So you have the ask, you have the bid. Anything that's printing in between is yellow. That's the mid print. Anything that's on the ask is green. Anything that's on the bid is red. But guess what? I know you guys are a little astute. You guys see the light green and the dark red as well. Well, that is for people who are removing liquidity from either the bid or the ask. Light green's above the ask, dark red's below the bid, and there was a lot of dark reds coming in, signifying people removing liquidity from the bid, selling into the bid pretty aggressively on the way down on Tesla. So I was like, all right, that's pretty wild there. Market's coming in with a little bit of confluence as well, pulling back in on top of that 24,500. So we'll wait and see. And here is VWAP on Amazon. What's going on, Adara?
Let's go.
Yeah, take a look here at NVIDIA. We have comments coming in from the company. CNBC reporting that the company is saying that they comply with China's anti-monopoly law in all respects. Now, this is certainly in regards to commentary from China's regulators in that space, saying that they completed their preliminary investigation into NVIDIA's acquisition of a company back in 2020. Now it looks like they're going to continue that probe. But again, NVIDIA denying this, saying that they comply with China's anti-monopoly law in all respects. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that, Adara. Yeah, nice trade there on Amazon there to the downside. Obi, that one's working pretty good. Charlie, I'm glad your contracts are working out for you on to the downside as well too. So yeah, some pretty good looks there, guys, across the board. With that being said, let's get those votes in, guys. Let's see what we got cooking up here. We'll pull it up. And see what we have for our livestock visualizer. What
do we got going on?
Oh, there we go. Bang.
Ooh, that was new. What screen was that?
You've never seen that one?
No.
You haven't seen this one?
No, I've seen this one, but the little, if you click on it, something pops up?
No,
click on the Tesla? That. Yeah. That's
okay,
new.
Fabian, all right,
that's new.
Bang.
That's sick.
Let's go. Hey, yeah, we like that one there, Fabian.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, let's go. He's not playing around here.
What data do we have on there? Click on it again. What are some of the stats there? 24-hour high.
Yeah, we got that
low volume.
Total gain right there.
Nice.
Submissions. What else do we got? 24-hour high volume. Yeah. Low of the day as well. So that's looking pretty good. Yeah, guys. So make sure you guys get those dollar signs in there. Make sure you vote and see what we got going on. Bitcoin's breaking down, but we're still in play until we crack that low. So we're going to hold on to this until otherwise. It may not go our way, but again, only time will be the bearer of that news. There it goes, taking another tank lower. Kind of had that suspicion as it wasn't going, but again, patience. Don't don't micromanage. There you go. You're south of VWAP. Did you take anything at VWAP there, Obi? Tell them what you
take it off?
No, did you take some off?
More? No. So I took some off coming into the first quarter on top. So VWAP was a flat dollar level roughly. It was like 231.99. So I was like 232s. I covered some on top of the quarter, some in the teens. Decent chunk on top of VWAP, just holding on to the last piece, looking for a potential continuation. Right? So the last ad is what I'm sitting on right now, and that one was at 232.40s, and I have a bit of that left over. Again, I was like, the reversion to VWAP is the trade. That's what I was looking for. Now, if it's going to give me a consolidation, continuation, a different kind of trade where it's like maybe we're breaking the bid on the day and we're going to revert to some of these places where we did find buyers in the morning session. That's 231s and 230 halves, and maybe even 230 coming into the open as well. That's where some of the strongest buying came in on the day, and then some strong buying here as well. Look at that volume candle. You talk about the high volume node right there, the isolated volume signature that Joe likes to call out right there. You can see that happen on the 1054 candle here on Amazon with the breakout. We talked about this one earlier. So that's another place where the bid came in, and guess what? We're consolidating in and around here. So I'm going to give this some space, give it some time, let it consolidate. Show me that sellers are still in charge for me to even think about maybe adding and taking the next trade, which would be a VWAP kind of breakdown as well, because it's been holding VWAP for majority of the day, and we got extension off of VWAP as well. So VWAP has kind of been where buyers have been. So I'm just being patient and watching to see if those buyers are weaker or showing any signs of a stronger pullback. But VWAP was where I wanted it, and I took off, I would say, about 80% going into
that. Yeah, good play, man. I mean, lock that in. I told you guys on my first Tesla trade, I got stopped out of 60%. It's just because I wasn't willing to let go of more of that trade and leaving a smaller runner, right? Considering
especially when things are like choppy sideways, I'm just like, you just got to take it.
Yeah, just take it, man. I think that's one of the hardest.
Unless you're looking for that consolidation to break, which is more anticipation, but that's a different trade.
For sure. I agree with you 100% there. So yeah, I mean, that's the narrative, guys. Let's go. We'll do a quick trade review to see what we got going on, other than me just sitting here in IBIT, see what we got cooking. IONQ, I think that's the NY. I don't know why it does that, but there it goes. All right, so IONQ, yeah, this was our first trade of the. Actually, no, it wasn't actually. It was up there anyways. So yeah, that one worked out pretty good for us there. That's a 3-minute time frame. We can zoom in and bring it into that 1-minute time frame to see what kind of more detailed depth of that. So what happened was you hold the base, a nice support structure right there, guys, and then we just play the momentum, breaking through the volume weighted average price, pop, 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 pop. You take some out and just slowly piece it out there. So that was a pretty good. What would we get on that one? 57.18 to a high of around 58.63. So $1 and change on that one. So a pretty good look on that front. TSLL. And let's get this to down here. So we just make it a little bit more simplistic. And this is what we had going on. We'll zoom out on this, considering the amount of transactions we've done on it. 3-minute. Attempt number 1, fail. Attempt number 2, fail. Right, so I'm at 2 strikes right now. Right, 1 more strike, and we don't get on base or anything. For me, I'm just gonna avoid the stock in general. But we're fortunate enough to catch on the first base right there. Eventually, do get stopped out at the break even, and then sure enough, we try it 1 more time, and it would probably be a new inning at that standpoint, but. We take 1 more stab, and I'm glad that we did that. Signal was extremely strong, and then we try to make that move as large as we possibly can. Shout out to SoFi.
SoFi?
Yeah, SoFi is running right now. Obi put in a new high of the day, so Adam, congrats to you. Are you still down south? I'm curious to see or to hear if you are, or you're back in the lovely Great White North. 218% off of those April lows there, guys. Bang. Beautiful, beautiful look there in SoFi. Is Neil, you're in SoFi too, right? Oh, damn. Oh, hell yeah, he said.
$7. Let's go.
$7 on.
Over 20.
On SoFi?
He's in at $7.
Oh, he's in at $7.
It's at $27.
All right,
$20 in the money.
All right, we know who dinner's on then. There's no questioning that. Thanks for that.
He's like, I'm never selling.
Yeah, he's like, I'm never. Yeah, if you never realize the gains.
Hodl.
Yeah, if you never realize the gains, you never have to pay the tax at the end of the day.
I mean, if I don't get out of my position, did I take a loss?
Right?
I don't know.
Well, no, don't go down that road. Don't go down that road. That's a slippery slope.
Neil's looking at me like, hey.
That's a slippery slope. I don't even have to look at Neil, and he's like, yeah. See, the thing is, though, eventually it's like, bring. Hello, Mr. Obi. Yeah, we're going to liquidate your account there, my friend. And that's it. Your trading account blown up. So don't no. Or anything.
Usually when that's happened to me, it's not a phone call. I never let it get.
You just open the account?
The account's already liquidated. You get an email being like, all right, you need to pay up.
Oh,
you owe us this much money. It's
brutal.
So I'm like, all right, don't worry. It'll be in the account soon enough. Don't worry.
Yeah. You guys take e-transfer?
Yeah. Just got to wire it back to them. You got to wire it back to the broker.
For our fellow Americans who don't know what
oh boy, some
is,
selling.
More
selling coming in.
Our electronic transfer and
e-transfer.
Significantly easier. You don't need to use Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, and all these other names that you.
I just e-transfer and PayPal.
Zelle. It's just like
all that. Bank to bank is perfect. E-transfer is perfect.
Yeah, it's the best. Right? Exactly. So that's what we like going on. But yeah.
They don't have that. I swear they have that. They don't have that in the States.
It's like Zelle, PayPal, Cash App.
Like for e-transfer, I just need like your phone number or your email, and then I can just send you money. I don't need anything else. I can send it straight from my bank.
I could be wrong. I don't think that's the. I don't think that's the case. In the States, you need to have kind of one of those tertiary methods of payment. I could be totally wrong.
Yeah. I mean, people have to get paid.
Yeah, exactly. People need to get paid. Adair, what do you got for us?
Yeah, just be aware here, Google on watch. We do have Bloomberg reporting that apparently Google's ad tech sales missed expectations as the DOJ is looking for a breakup. So long story short, Google did apparently consider selling off part of its ad tech business to resolve some antitrust concerns in both Europe and the U.S. But apparently a DOJ proposal to force the sale of the advertising business goes beyond that. So Google, this potential ad tech sale on watch. I have to read through this article still, but I want to let you guys know about the headline coming through. I'm going to give this a read, give you guys any more context if necessary. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Dara. Yeah, this VWAP's just chopping around here on Amazon. I thought about it for a second. I got up into the 20s, I think. Did we get up into the 20s? Yeah, we got up into like 25, and I was like, okay, do I short the quarter here? Because yeah, it may be a little early to cover, but yeah, I like the short back in here. I didn't really take it. I'm going to be a little bit more patient. 232s. This is VWAP. I'm going to let it consolidate a little bit. We're coming into 1238, so it is the middle of the day, and I find that things tend to take a little bit longer and might be a little bit more fugazi. And shout out to Adam DeLuz in the chat as well. I think he was saying that, yeah, at his firm, they turn off the algos around that 11:45-ish time as well.
Oh, yeah?
Low liquidity, too much noise, but that's specific to their playbook, right? Yeah. So again, we talk about try to understand the reasoning of how and why people trade before you kind of just just jump into the deep end and just start copying some of the rules and trades and stuff like that. So
for sure, getting for sure. All right, yeah, Rivian, let's go, my friend. It's pretty choppy. I wouldn't want to see another rejection, but it's looking like we might here. So just keep your eyes on the tape. We obviously we're going to set up our quote highlights as well, because I think that's equally as important. And that's pretty hefty, so maybe we'll filter it a little bit more, right? That's 4,000 shares. Let's do 6K. And see how much that filters out a little bit more there. We'll eliminate, so yeah, a little bit cleaner, right? So quote highlights, this is the size there. And then you can also obviously see that translate to what we got going on in the time and sales. But let's go Ethereum, let's go Bitcoin. I want to see this space really start to skyrocket. Could this be a good opportunity? Like, I mean, we're at touch 1, 2, and then maybe we're going to group this and classify it as 3, but we want to see that volume kick in order for us to punch through and break through some of these key resistance zones. So just keep that in mind. But if there's anything that you guys want to look at via options chain, let's go over some things here to see what we got going on. Let's pull up our good old trusty chain. Shout out to that. We went over some Tesla. Oh, I'm curious to why this hasn't updated. Alerts, TXN is gone. What did I have at the top of the list there? Dash. I had something else. What was it? Oh, this is a different desktop, so it's not displaying there. But it was my top idea. Upgrades and downgrades, we can take a look at that. But other than that, this is Tesla's options chain. Let's take a look at Meta, because we did get that big volume spike throughout the day. And let's see if we see any concentration of open interest or some outstanding volume on this week's expiration cycle. Not seeing too much. We can go to next week. Nothing outstanding, right? So nothing crazy there. Let's take a look at goggles. Look for volume and outstanding OI. So you have those 255s. What was the high of the day? Yeah, those 255 starting to pick up a little steam there in goggles. Where was that? 22,700 contracts already closed here, so those are all essentially dead now. These are still the alive ones, 7,280 on that. The 235s, those are like, if you're long the 230s, man, you're printing up a storm, because you got 28,900 contracts at that specific strike price, so that's a pretty good look. We'll take a look at the overall market as well too. We'll go NAS 100 and see what we got going on from the 0 DTE standpoint. I know our guy Charlie, he's short here. I don't know, Charlie, are you buying puts or are you shorting calls? Let me know. No, by Grace, I'm not doing that today. There's zero chance I'm doing that. We're long some IBIT. We were long some Tesla earlier in the day, and we were long some IONQ. So there is zero chance. I wouldn't say that. Never say never, but there's a very low probability that I'm going to be shorting the overall market. I told you guys earlier that my accuracy on the shorts has just been horrendous, so we'll avoid that. Now let's take a look at the king of the chip space here. That's going to be NVDA. Wow. Okay, 180. We have 100,000 contracts open right there, with 116,000 already closed throughout the session. Obi, that's some cash right there. Oh, yeah. And then at that 190 strike price, we have 113,000 current open contracts, with 13,900 of them have already been closed. So let's actually pull these up and see what we got going on. This isn't going to tell us much here. Come on, why? You can do it, man.
You can do it.
No, it doesn't want to. Obi, it doesn't want to. All right, let's pull up the actual, or did it go somewhere else?
Tried refreshing, or?
Let's see. What's this one here? Oh, there it is. All right, bang.
Nice.
There it is.
There you go.
So there's the old chart ski of these contracts. At one point, they were worth $13.
Look at that backside,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
Like think about that. What if you're selling all of that? You're just selling until contract close. Like you're getting, you have 2-3 weeks just to sell and collect premium.
Bro, and then sure enough,
then fade.
They're probably gonna
look at this is why I love looking at options charts as well, because it shows you supply and demand of the chain, and you can just trade that as well. You know what I mean? Like you can be like, look, the demand just fades when the trend breaks, and it just literally goes to zero.
No,
so it's a beautiful thing about some of these options charts.
It's beautiful. I love the chain, right? It's such an in-depth look. I kind of compare it to kind of Bookmap. Right, how you get the heat sensor, but obviously this just being numbers. But the thing is, though, you have just a vast amount of strike prices that you can go through, and you can see the liquidity on the book. No, Fabian, it doesn't have the tilted feature on it just yet. We're looking. Did you hear what he said?
No.
He said, does it show you when you're tilted?
Oh, does it show you when you're tilted?
No.
Oh, when everyone else is tilted?
No,
maybe
we're waiting for that feature.
Yeah, I think you can definitely see the panic on the chart when this chart starts to fall apart. You're just like, all right, yeah, well that's.
It would not be volume, right?
Volume to show you people are tilted.
Panic?
You mean like it can, because right, like if you get a large amount of volume and the stock starts selling, like and it's substantially larger than everything. Yeah, both sides. Like you can see an increase in puts and in short contracts as well too. That can kind of signify what's cooking up there. But yeah, Obi, not too bad there on this specific level. But let's actually pull up the underlying itself and see what we got going on from an intraday standpoint, considering we know that 180 and 190 have the largest amounts of OI there. So we'll take a look to see what our highs of the days are. 178.21. We're on that warpath, Obi. I wouldn't be surprised if we run into 180 this week, and maybe even 190 if you catch a lot of the other those 180 traders offside. But Obi, I know you got something for us.
Yes, sir. 14 years. Wow. 0 hacks, 0 excuses. That's btcc.com. They deliver when others don't. Trade Bitcoin up to 500 times, even Tesla, gold, and Forex. With smart copy trading, you don't just watch the pros, you trade like them. Regulated in the USA, Canada, and Europe, trusted by 6.8 million traders. Trader TV Live exclusive. Scan the QR or click the link in the description box for a 15% deposit bonus. btcc.com, where the pros trade, and now so can you. I'm curious. I want to know. I don't know if I would run the smart copy trading feature, but I definitely want to know what they're trading and how they're trading. Some of the top performers on that site, and then obviously putting in my own work is how I'd like to do it. But yeah, no, 14 years, 0 hacks. That's pretty impressive, man.
Yeah, I will take that all day. It's like the Ethereum blockchain, essentially undefeated, man.
Undefeated, yeah.
Undefeated.
It's funny. We were sitting. I remember when Ethereum was first introduced to me. It was trading around like $6-7, and we watched it go up to 50, and we were like, "Holy, this thing is going! This thing is gone!"
Yeah.
Right. I remember sitting. We were at a restaurant. Me and my buddies were at a shisha lounge.
Okay.
In Scarborough, and we were just talking about this. And one of my buddy's older brothers, he's like, "Yo, you guys should check out Ethereum." He was an engineer, and it was kind of like floating around the engineering space about how this new blockchain is going to change like crypto technology, and how Ethereum is so different and special or whatever. And we were looking at it. We didn't really see the value in it as a buy and hold. We were just like, "Oh my God, this is going to change the world in so many ways." But yeah, around $6 we were talking about it, and we were like, "Holy, this thing went up all the way up to 50. Who would have thunk?"
Yeah.
We started pushing 5,000.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely wild.
Man, that's crazy.
Got involved somewhere along the way. So
did you? All right, Ben. All right. I see how you're moving.
Unfortunately, nowhere near those prices.
Okay, that's okay. Yeah, I didn't know about that stuff until I didn't know about Ethereum until it was around like $700 or $800. Yeah. And I think that was the time of when Dogecoin was kind of getting popular as well too. And me and my friends the price was a little bit more attractive to Dogecoin. I told everyone that story before. So we just kind of pooled in our money and got to go on a nice little Doge ride. I mean, we were in that thing from about like 8 cents or something like that, and we took that ride up to 80. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, it's tough, obviously, investing with your friends because everybody's like, sell, and then you got people who are like, don't sell, and everything along those lines.
Have your own plan.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, so essentially what happened was all my buddies transferred me the money, and I bought it, right? And then I bought it, and then everybody, like every day, you know how the group chats are. It's like someone's arguing with someone, and sure enough. So
no, we got to sell the position.
Yeah.
Like,
so
no,
whoever wanted, there was 5 of us. Whoever wanted to get paid out, I just paid them out, obviously, and
give them their cut and just be like,
exactly. But other than that, guys, we're right at the top end of this IBIT resistance zone, and we're rejecting it there, Rivi. And I know you're involved in this, so let me know what you're thinking. Are we going to get that breakout, or is it just going to be one of these choppy price action type days? And I'm leaning towards the latter here, because it hasn't broken out, but I mean, what happened on Friday can most definitely happen again today, and that's why I'm sticking with it. Until we break through the low of the day, then that's it. Yeah, Obi would be filthy rich. That's what if history, though, man, because I remember when years and years ago, I met a kid from Niagara Falls, and he was buying Bitcoin. He was in my boxing gym, actually, and his name was Julian, and he's like, I moved from Niagara Falls to Toronto, because he's like, I made 40 grand on Bitcoin. Yeah. And he's like, I own this thing since like a couple $1,000, sold it at like 23 grand at the time it was trading at. And he's like, it's good. Like, it changed my life. He's like, I sold it all, and I am working on my boxing dream. Nice. And sure enough, now it's at $115,000. So I'm curious if he ever bought some more. But it's.
But I mean, if it helped to fund his dream at the time, then like that's you big, can't really put a price on that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, cause think about it. It's like you want to pursue your dream now or later on in time. You're gonna always kind of like make a little bit more money, but you can't make more time.
No.
You know what I mean? That's what makes some of those decisions priceless, right? Like, you're giving up a substantial amount of money, but did you get the experiences that you wanted? Yeah. And were they priceless, right? That's the question.
That's for sure.
But yeah, no, some crazy stories around crypto, of course. Yeah. One of, or the best running asset of our time, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
Percentage gains kind of speak for themselves.
Yeah, like from a creator of wealth standpoint, it probably has to be up there. It definitely has, because we obviously know everybody, these crypto billionaires and czars and whatever they may be. Right?
So. It's funny. Sometimes, like on my YouTube feed or the shorts or whatever, there's a few guys that do this, but they'll go up to people's houses or people's cars and be like, "What do you do for a living?"
I like those.
I like those guys because it gives you perspective from the other side as well. So it's just like, it's funny how many times they've either gone up to like a really nice house or a really nice car, and it's like a relatively younger person. They're just like, this is mine. And they're like, oh, what do you do? And then their answer is, well, I invested in Bitcoin early on. Yeah. So it's just like, definitely a life-changing stuff there for sure. And there's always going to be the next trade. Like, you gotta like, not a lot of people knew about Bitcoin until it actually started hitting some significant numbers, right? And then they were like, oh my God, where was this when it was, you know? But if you're part of that tech space, like you had info on cryptocurrencies and kind of the blockchain technology as it developed, and you had all the opportunity to get in. But I guess it is what it is. Where's the next trade is what I'm asking.
Yeah, and you know what? I was just gonna speak on that, Obi. I'm kind of like in Google here a little bit, just south of VWAP. Gore, have you looking at this, Los Polios? This might be a good little signal right there. What's our risk profile? So we got to give it about $1 there, right? All right, so do we get involved in this goggles trade? Let's see if we get a pullback. If it closes more than 50% of this wick, then I don't think the trade's going to be there. It might take a little bit more time in order for it to kind of get rolling. So patience. But Rivian, let's go, man. We need this Bitcoin breakout. Lots of ebbs and flows on this name here this morning. And who knows, it's gonna take some time if it is gonna go. The fact that it's not completely breaking down is positive. We just need to get through some resistance zones. Maybe this is just an accumulation phase as well, too. All right, there you go. See you later. Hold on, Brandon, the government line. Yeah, we gotta let this guy go. Sorry, Obi, he's 24 hours. Yeah, we can't have that spam. Yeah, yeah. You can't have spam like that in the chat. So,
I replied to him.
What'd you say?
I was like, in other news, the Earth is flat? Question mark. I was
yeah,
like,
there you go.
This is like tinfoil hat stuff happening there.
There you go. I hope you have a good day there, Brandon. Softs.
No spamming. Don't do the
spamming, please, and thank you. So yeah, he's out of there. But as for Bitcoin, let's rock and roll. Rivian, brother, I don't know what. Let me know your thoughts on this trade. We still have those higher lows, which is something positive, but we're also putting in a little bit of lower highs. We can call it, but it's most definitely a flat top. Let's see if that can break through, Obi.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking for some breakthroughs to happen to the downside, to be honest. Tesla kind of creeping lower to the bottom end of the range. We talked about kind of this potentially being a range trade, and we're getting a slow kind of grind all the way back down towards 415 is currently trading at 417 market with a little bit of a chop sideways as well. Sure, it looks a little bit weaker, but you can see it's still holding structure pretty well. So unless and until this starts to quadunk, I guess ES trend is a little bit broken as of right now, but Nasdaq, not really there, holding structure well. I'm watching this 24,500 level here on the Nasdaq. We kind of chopped and churned and kind of made it a little messy in and around there, kind of orbited that area. Off of the opening drive there on the Nasdaq. So as long as we hold some of this structure, I think 24,500, even 24,480 is at the lower end. I think we're still within the uptrend on the day here. Again, some would argue that this is the reference point of the bid, and unless and until you get back below what is that 24,420s, then the sellers are definitely in charge. But I don't know. Different ways to look at price action, right? Amazon, oh boy. So it did get out of all of it in and around that 232, but it's giving the continuation trade as of right now. The question becomes, if the market kind of turns and we do break that 24,500, then maybe we do see those 230s on Amazon on a day like today. But it's been pushing up pretty nicely. The bid has been relatively there on the weekly chart. Sure, on the daily and the hourly, it's a little bit choppy, a little bit sideways in a sense. Maybe some selling off happening last week. But if you take a look at the weekly chart on Amazon, we're trending up pretty nicely since those April lows. And here comes in Amazon with some fresh lows here as well. So that VWAP consolidation was nice. And maybe the places where I really have to start thinking about some of these continuations that happen on the reversions that I do take, because that might turn into the second part of the trade because it's a trade within itself. Instead of covering so aggressively, I got to start looking at some of the nuances that make this trade higher probability, and maybe even looking at adding into places where I'm covering a little too early. VWAP is fine, that was a target, but a lot of this chunk here covering on the quarters above VWAP, maybe not as necessary as I really think. But I don't know what the right answer to that is. But Pfizer was one of the ones. We talked about this in the morning session a little bit there, or I talked about it with Neil and Sean. I was just like, Pfizer's another one that I'm potentially looking for maybe a continuation. And oh boy, did that trade come in quite nicely here. So I had some levels marked off. We had that intraday catalyst. Now I don't know what the specifics of that catalyst are, but regardless, the more important information to me is that sellers continuation and hold at day lows on the close. I'm looking for that continuation coming in. And guess what? Sure, off the open. If you're looking for it to go right off the open, sure, that's a different trade. But I'm looking for sellers to step in at some point relative to prior day structures after the catalyst has come out. And you can see sellers came in 24 change, in and around 24s as we broke down. And guess what? On the day today, coming in off of the open, sure, a little bit of a bid, failure to follow through the opening range high, and sellers come in back again through that 24. So more of the same happening here on Pfizer. Sure, it's not as aggressive or as in line in terms of magnitude of a sell that happened on Friday, but regardless, the continuation of sellers did come into fruition off of the open in the opening session and now during the midday session, as well as we did get through that prior low a day in and around that 23.85. So nice little continuation. This was a bit of a B trade for me, but didn't really end up taking it, missed out on that one. So I'll definitely be adding that to the journal later on today. But other than that, man, I'm just like, all right, I had some good trades on the roster, took some of them, did not take some of them, and it is what it is. How can I get a little bit better tomorrow? That's the question.
like a practice, but aside from the games itself, I'll play like a game or pickup. So
okay, nice.
Kind of just work on things,
yeah.
and then you got game days, obviously. But yeah. Teenager through my 20s and stuff like that, I would go outside on my rollerblades, set up the pylons, like I have the pylons in the trunk, grab my ball and just work on stick handling and stuff like that. But not so much anymore.
No sound. Apparently we're getting no sound, guys. Sound's gone.
No sound?
Apparently.
No sound.
Or is that just
No, I don't think that's me. I'm not muted or anything like that.
Oh boy, it's back on. All right, I think we're
coming out, really cooking now. Yeah, nice, Charlie. I'm glad that's working out.
Market's coming in as well. Someone hammered the mute button. Someone hammering the market right now.
Absolutely. Let's see if Google can save the day here. I'm long some Google. Same thing here, right? Breaks that low of this specific candle, then we'll hop out. Anything north of VWAP, we'll start slowly piecing it out again. Nothing substantially here on this specific trade. Want to focus on this Bitcoin trade and see if we can catch it, but it's not looking like it's going to be rocking and rolling today. My thesis was considering, like, we'll hop to the actual crypto space and see what we got going on. We'll pull up Ethereum from a daily. So I did like this, right? Like, I like this aspect, obviously. FOMC. This is me just thinking out loud, right? What can maybe possibly happen and what I'm specifically looking for. And let's see if it comes into play. So that would be really nice if we do get a pop in the overall space come Wednesday, guys. Audio again.
It's going to be an interesting week here as well. Apparently audio sound is retracing back to VWAP.
Yeah.
I like that. No sound. It's back and it's back. All right. Sound was gone for 10 seconds.
It's freezing.
I like that comment. Jonathan R in the chat saying sound is retracting back to VWAP. Yeah, a little bit of reversion happening there. Reversion of the waves.
Yeah.
And the market pulled back into that 24,500 here on the Nasdaq. I'm just waiting and watching. A bit of a continuation here on Tesla, creeping a little bit lower back into the low of its range, but not really giving us the strong selling kind of action we saw off of the open and in the morning session as well into the lower end of this range. So it is a little bit different, the grind to the downside. I'm curious to know that wick bottom at 14s and change, if that'll potentially come in. Oh boy, Amazon's coming in real nice as well. So don't really have the entry on that one. Again, for that one, I would like something around 232s, and if I'm not going to necessarily chase down here just yet. Maybe there's other things that I'd like to see before I really want to start chasing. But I'm going to be a little bit more patient on this one here. But the market is coming back in and selling off a little bit, both here on the Nasdaq and the ES. And across the board, let's see who's actually broken a bit of that morning session or the prior bid. So Apple is taking a little bit of a pullback here as well. So let's take a quick look at that one, because I want to know when the markets do what they do, what's kind of dragging them around. AAPL, nice. All right, so yeah, a little bit of a pullback here on Apple as well. Amazon we're already looking at. Tesla we're already looking at. NVIDIA, let's take a look at NVIDIA, because that was the one that was kind of leading the way, one of the ones other than Softy, that was leading the way for the market bid in the morning and a good chunk of that midday session as well. You can see that both NVIDIA and Microsoft, let's pull that one up as well. Strong bid, but the bid on Microsoft starting to dissipate a little bit, maybe pulling back into VWAP. VWAP being just under, I guess, 60, 70 pennies away on Microsoft, and then NVIDIA a little bit stronger. It hasn't pulled back as aggressively as some of those Microsoft pullbacks, but starting to slow down a little bit here. We got that strength pushing up for a fresh high into 178.27s, and then still holding this bit of an uptrend here after that aggressive push that we did see. So if NVIDIA can really kind of break this down, then maybe potentially, I'm just gonna draw a line here to define some stuff. So right there, so you see that it's holding. So one test, two tests, that's what we drew the line off of. Now the question becomes, will it respect it the third time? Will it respect it a fourth time? Or do we break down, and if I'm gonna define trend like this, then the break of this is the break of the trend, right? So it's like, all right, so am I confident enough to place this line and be like, this is significant enough that when price travels below here, I'm confident enough to take a trade and be like, all right, well, regardless of if you want to risk here for a reversion back in. But yeah, I kind of defined some levels there on NVIDIA earlier on, and we didn't quite get up to that 178.63 pre-market high on NVIDIA. So holding trend. Market hasn't necessarily fully broken down yet. Like I said, that 24,500 could be a little interesting, 24,480 as well. But yeah, NVIDIA, let's see if that pulls in. Some of the other Mag 7s, though, starting to catch a little bit of a curl to the downside, maybe leading the way and heralding some of the shorts for the NVIDIA reversion as well. So I'm watching it, I'm waiting, but I'll be patient. Where is the next trade, guys?
Absolutely, absolutely. Whenever, just give me the go-ahead there, Andre. Yeah, yep, for sure. Each year, 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., yet there is still no FDA-approved treatments. Now, as you listed, Oragenics is changing that with its first-in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Oragenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more and schedule a meeting today. Yeah, don't prolong that treatment for the old brain there. It's not good. Trust me, you don't want to do that, man. Living with headaches and consistent concussions is not, it literally deteriorates your quality of life, so go check it out there. But yeah, we're still sitting in this, guys. We're talking about the eastward movement. We're out at the break of the low, but it just keeps getting bought up at that low, so that's something positive. Now we just want that volume to really start to step in. Same thing here with Google. The indecision print, this is like a C minus setup. We do like that indecision print right along right below the volume weighted average price, sorry. Considering that maybe we get somewhat of a continuation, opening drive's extremely strong. You open up at 244 and then you just climb all the way to 252 in a span of how many minutes you got there. So 45 minutes just after the open, and we haven't necessarily even came close. This is a lower high, obviously, so if you just want to do your basic TAs, then maybe we'll construct a lower high right around this realm. But anything north of VWAP, we'll just slowly piece it out. I'm not putting too much size here on this Google trade there, Obi.
Man, there goes Amazon right away. Wow. And I have a feeling that I'm looking in the wrong direction. I'm looking in the wrong direction, and I don't know why, because some of these trades that are working, I'm having some trouble not seeing and sticking with the trade here. So that 232 continuation is happening. So now I got some special glasses that let me see different things all at once. So yeah, that flush on Amazon, what a beautiful consolidation in and around VWAP for a nice little continuation back down into 231.5. So solid stuff happening there on Amazon. So let's see what else I can see here in terms of opportunity. So yeah, like I said, sometimes the vision can be a little skewed. You got to make sure stock selection is important, and stock selection will make the biggest difference. So you got to make sure you're looking in the right direction and you're focused. Just make sure
if you're not, right?
You're kind of like all over the place. Then it's a little tough. Sometimes you catch something, sometimes you don't catch things, but it's all over the place. So focus and stock selection is very, very important. You got to make sure your line of sight is very clear.
Yeah.
Oh boy, indeed.
If it's not, then you might be in a little bit of trouble for sure. There. Yeah, but you know what they used to say, Obi? If you're just on a bad streak, everything you touch, right, goes the opposite way.
Maybe, yeah. But sometimes I go on streaks like that, but
you know what the solution to that is?
Just flip the chart upside down.
No, flip the screen upside down.
Flip the screen upside down.
Flip the screen upside down.
Too bad that doesn't turn the red numbers into green.
Yeah. Just flip the screen. If you're going through a bad streak, just flip the screen, and then sure enough,
some of these screens look upside down to me right now.
Yeah. So that'd be giving me a mad headache. Yeah, there's no way you can see clear on that one. No, good times as always, guys. Buddy. Yeah, good stuff there. Laughs as always, guys. Spin it, 420 Bud Monster, no problem. I don't have that though. That's the thing. So we'll just hit the siren a couple times. Oh, you have it there.
Do I have it? I don't know. This is Sharif's.
You have money.
Stream. Let me pull up the stream deck right here.
Money.
Do I have the money?
Yeah, 100%. You got it.
Oh, right here. It's the first one. It's the first one.
the code on that bad boy?
Money.
Yeah. Oh, I'll send it to you. You want it?
Yeah.
I'll send it to you right
Thanks,
now.
brother.
Yeah,
Need that one there. Yeah, I mean.
I'll send it to you on Discord.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah. I mean, they had to take these away from me for a little while.
You're just using them too much?
Yeah, just pure abuse.
That's
so,
a joke.
yeah, they're like, you know what? No one ever said that to me. I'm only joking. But yeah, guys, IBIT back at the top end of the range here. Rivian Millionaire, are you still sitting in this? It's going in my favor. Why is my P&L going down? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly how it goes. Nice. I did give Joseph 420 earlier. Thank you. Oh, okay, yeah. So, yeah. Thank you very much for that 420 Bud Monster, as always there, my friend. Let's see what Ethereum's up to here. We like this one. Evan and Woody's telling me about another XRP ETF coming out this Thursday. I want to just stick with the liquid ones. We've had this conversation before in the likes of the Bitcoin ones. What happened to Grayscale and some of the other ones are not as liquid. I want to stick with the iShares, right? I love iShares. iShares have been treating me really good. iShares here, right? So, again, if we can get that in... I don't think this is, I don't even know what that is, UXRP. No, I don't even have it on that one. So XXRP is the only one that I'm familiar with there. And again, patience, and wait for those things to come out. And yeah, hey, Rivian, when it's optionable, I might just do that, right? I might just take the options route and continuously just roll over contracts. Beautiful stuff here that we're experiencing, 3-minute time frame, back at the top end of this range here. Let's break through. Let's just avoid all this ebbs and flows. We've absorbed enough liquidity. People have been getting chopped up left, right, and center up in here. Now, hopefully, we're ready to go and break through some of these key resistance there, are we?
Ooh, yeah, I think we're ready to go for sure.
Yeah.
You have
any left-ons? Oh, no.
I wish, man. Yeah. I'm just like, so this is what Adam Luluz in the chat was talking about. He's like, I wanted to see you hold that for 15, 20%. And I was just like, yeah, man, I wish a bit of a fumble. VWAP, a little arbitrary there, but I'm a little bit more disappointed at some of these early entries. No real reason to cover. I'm just like, oh, it's getting near my thing, so because I'm not paying as much attention to it, I should just have some orders in, and I cover a little bit too much. But regardless, I didn't take the continuation trade because this is one trade, and the bigger picture might be the full-on reversion, but this is the second part of that trade, right? That VWAP kind of consolidation, and then selling, stepping in once again, and maybe a little bit of market confluence as well with, sure, the market isn't necessarily selling off, but the bid has definitely dissipated, which could cause, I guess, longs to just be like, all right, the market's not going anywhere, so maybe more inclined to sell on flat action there, and we're seeing some selling happening on Amazon there, but yeah, no, good push there. Unfortunately, didn't quite hold it. 233s all the way down to 231.5s now. So a beautiful short on that one as that comes in. And oh boy, NVIDIA, we were just talking about this one, Joe, and I was like, all right, if this breaks, maybe selling steps in. And guess what? Selling definitely stepping in now on the break of this short trend. How long was this trend? Let me just measure that real quick. Okay, so an hour and 30 minutes. So yeah, the bid's kind of holding for an hour and 30 minutes. And the first time we break that trend, however you want to define it, we get some aggressive selling. It makes a little bit of sense to me. So let's see if that potentially comes in. Oh boy, did not mean to do that. Amazon, oh my God, I got to stop looking at you because this is a chase for me. I don't want to punch short all the way down here. No. The short is either at 233s on the flow of sellers stepping into the bid, or on the consolidation in and around VWAP that gives us a nice continuation because look, there is no bounce. Maybe we get a little bit of a bounce into quarters, but that was the place to reload and be like, all right, well, selling, stepping right back in, buyers are definitely not in charge, and I want to participate in some of that action, and that action is coming in beautifully with a nice follow through that opening range high, as well as VWAP, as well as some of these prior kind of reference levels from the morning session here on Amazon. So a nice little swinging of price action in that jungle happening today. But let me know what you guys are up to. What are you guys trading? What trades have worked out for you? What trades didn't work out for you? I'm curious to know where everyone is at as of right now on the day today. NVIDIA as well, maybe taking a little bit of a breather with a bit of that trend break. So we'll see. We'll see where the market takes us. Like I said before, that 24,500 I think is going to be a little bit interesting on the Nasdaq.
For sure. Yeah, Google breaking down here on us, guys. As soon as it cracks through that key pivot, we'll just hop out of that one, take a loss, unfortunately, but that's okay. That's okay. We're not gonna nothing to write home about there. So yeah, nothing crazy. Right back at the top end of this consolidation, volume really cool there. So in order for us to break out, we most definitely want to see it step in. But it's looking pretty good. I like what I got seeing on my chart. Rivian, are you still in this? And who else is in this? I know someone else said they were. Sorry if I forget, but someone else said that they're in it. But we have almost a flat top here, right, guys? This is what we're looking at for this to be breached. So there it is. Boom, consistent higher lows, flat top, key resistance zone. You want to see the volume kick in. Let's take a look at the lower time frames to see if we're going to get that. Not really stair-stepping up right yet. So again, that's what we need. That's what we got going on. Now let's see. Now see that instant rejection? I bet you we go back to the bottom end of that range here now, considering I just seen that there. So just be cautious for that. The more aggressive it gets, the more likelihood that it will do so. All right. So let's also pull up our screener. Pew pew. All right, guys. Let's see what we got cooking up here. So TSLL. 240 million shares traded on the day. Beautiful look there in TSLL. Couple hammer candles for the continuation. Now, like if you look at this, if we go to a 15-minute time frame, doesn't look all that bad, right? Like somewhat of a bull flag, we'll call it. So nothing horrible. 30-minute, even more, right? So hold those support levels, and then maybe you get that continuation. But I had that feeling, considering that Thursday, Friday, you have these monster runs. The third day in a row is usually when, I think it's kind of like the legs as well too, right? So if you have the legs of a stock, it's like, okay, the probability is obviously significantly higher through leg one and leg two. Leg three is when it starts to fall off a cliff. Google, bull flag here as well too, so that's not too bad on these higher time frames. Joby, what's that one up to? I know Sharif likes that. But Adara, what do you got for us?
Microsoft on watch here. OpenAI, which of course Microsoft has been heavily invested in, has announced the release of GPT-5 Codex, which is a new version of its advanced language model. So ChatGPT announcing a new version of their model, MSFT, on watch. Back to you.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't really. Did you try the 5?
Yeah, I have.
The 5 is kind of trash.
Yeah, you don't like it?
I think I talked to one of my buddies who runs a significant portion of his business using a bunch of AIs, but his main one is GPT. He uses the GPT Pro, which is crazy. You pay like over $200 for it monthly, but
if it's worth it.
Oh, it's definitely worth it. For him, it's more than worth it. But I asked him, I was like, hey, I tried the GPT-5, and it's not giving me effective answers. It's either taking too long. And he told me, he's like, there's that auto feature. So when you go to ask it, before there was the different models, the 4.0, whatever, but now it goes on auto, and there's a thinking and there's a fast response. So the auto tries to make a decision for you to be like, okay, is this going to be a thinking or a fast response? And then it tries to do all that. But forget about the auto. Click on one of the thinkings or the thing, depending on whatever. And you have to. This is where he's an engineer, so. He's not a prompt engineer, but he knows his prompts very well. He could very well be a really good prompt engineer. But he was telling me, he's like, it really depends on the prompting that you give it, and you just have to make sure to tell it to think deeply. Make sure you check your answers. You have to make sure you specify all of those things so it uses more computing power to kind of answer more tokens to answer your question and kind of give you feedback as well. But so far, in terms of just market related things, I'm really liking Perplexity. Man.
Yeah, Perplexity.
I was thinking of switching my subscription, to be honest, but
to Perplexity
because I only pay for GPT right now.
I like how it pulls links though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
in Perplexity, it pulls the link for you. Yeah. That's what I really like about it. Wayner is actually one that got me. He's like, why are you reading through all these articles? Just use Perplexity.
Yeah.
Like, all right, break this down, and then you'll see it go through all the previous.
Yeah, it does well in terms of like financial stuff there.
It's pretty good.
So. Yeah, it's good stuff. Market coming in now, man. A little bit of a continuation of sellers happening here on Apple, as well as the ES and the Nasdaq. We talked about that 24.5. That's coming in now, not too far away. So let's see what the market does. Tesla at its lower end of the range. Excuse me, here as of right now. And yeah, we saw that coming in, maybe a little bit with the NVIDIA as well. So J Doe in the chat, thank you very much. Continuing my support. Thank you very much for your support, J Doe. Thank you, Trader TV and community. So yeah, thank you, J Doe, for calling.
He asked me a good question there earlier in the chat, and he's like, Joe, I got some, I forget what the name is. Yeah, here it is. He's like, I got some SCM, so it's like SMCI 2X leverage calls. He's like, yeah, I'm up 202% on these ones. They expire this Friday. Might sell one and keep two for a runner. And he's like, my thought. I'm like, yeah, you know what, man? You just nailed it on the head. You have your trade plan, obviously, hopefully in your mind or how you're going to execute it. But yeah, that's something along the lines that I would do. Obviously, you got to be obviously your own keeper at the end of the day. Just manage it. There's nothing wrong with locking in profits. Again, you're using a 2x leverage. Leading into this week's expiration cycle, you will see theta start to pick up there as well too. So for me, you're getting the nod across the board with just lock one in today, lock one in on Wednesday to see what's going on, and then close it out on Friday or Thursday or whatever you feel comfortable with there, Jado. So yeah, just do your thing, brother. I'm glad that trade has been working out really, really well for you. Now, any thoughts on Macy's $5 super chat? Dang, thank you for that. Nojim is my name. All right, Noah Jam. Sorry if I'm butchering it, but it sounds like I am. Guys, this is what I was talking about here on IBIT. You get to the top end. I was like, yeah, I bet my bottom dollar that we come back into the middle of it there. Yes, and Whisperway quad witching Friday. Yes, thank you very much for the reminder on
big
that
week,
one.
Man.
Yeah, it's a very, very big week.
You know about the IPOs this week? I can pull up some of the
IPOs.
There's a couple IPOs that are pretty decent, and I just have the Nasdaq website open here. And yeah, let's take a look at what some of those might be.
Let's take a look at Macy's for.
Sure.
Is my name, and
let's do Macy's first. I already have it pulled up here. Cool. So Macy's, the question was, any thoughts on Macy's? I don't know if I have any thoughts, but let's take a look at what the chart has been telling us. Oh boy, a little bit of a consolidative range here. So the question becomes, how did we come into this range? Is that off of earnings? Nice. So I like that. So earnings push, consolidation, holding the lows, sideways action, kind of consolidating at the upper quartile of the bid, right? So I like that for a potential continuation, but it's got to break this range in a significant way. I like that we false broke the lower end of the range on the day today, and that gave us a travel all the way to the upper end, which is at 1740s, all the way from 1670. So almost, I would say 60, 70 pennies roughly worth of a range there. Let's just get specific, man. We'll just measure from the top to the lows there. So yeah, about there you go, 60 pennies worth of action there. So let's go up to a higher time frame as well. Has this been trending up going into that pop, right? So the answer is yes. So we got this bid all the way from April, and then we got higher lows in June. We got higher lows in August. We got higher lows in September, and guess what? As of right now, we're still getting higher lows in the end of September, or coming into the middle of September as well. So I like that structure's been holding up well. Maybe we are breaking down a much higher time frame trend here as well. You know what? I want to see this on the weekly. Are we breaking trend on the weekly? That's the next question I'm asking. So all of these things so far have confluenced for a potential look on the long side. But take a look at this. Look at that. Have we broken the downtrend? No, we're vacuuming up to the upper end, which has served as a little bit of resistance, right? So we're just reverting. We tried to break down. This 950s has held before, and then it holds once again. That's probably in and around. Okay, that's March. That is April. So yeah, that is April. That's the April bid. We turn around. We fail to follow through those lows. Fresh lows are made at 951s, and then we just revert back into the the trend resistance that's been happening since 2022. So my thoughts, I'm curious to know what we do if and when we do get up here. Have we been pushing with expanding volume? Not really, just a strong volume candle off of earnings, which is to be expected, but can we get this consolidation to really break loose and break through multiple years worth of trend resistance? That's the question that I'm asking here. Those are my personal thoughts and just opinions on Macy's. Do I see a trade? Not really. Not really on the day here or on the
until that here. Breaks anyway.
Until it does something here, I think the trade kind of maybe has already been positioning into and off of earnings. If you're looking for a potential push, we just defined the bit of the range, 60 penny range over the past few days. The price would have to tell me what it wants to do with that range for me to be like, all right, well,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, all the best on that if you're looking to obviously put on a trade with that there. Personally, Macy's, I don't think I've intraday traded it a couple of times, but other than that.
It's good on earnings. It's solid on earnings. I like trading Macy's on earnings. Earnings day 1, day 2, I think I've done relatively okay. Historically, trading Macy's, and those are the days where it gets some of the most volume in the year as well. But before I pass it off back to you, oh boy, Amazon's still going.
You got your IPO thing.
So Amazon's still going. So that 231, big miss on my part, man. Have to stick with some of these trades that are working. And look, it gives me a chance to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. That's what I'm realizing. Some of the best trades, they give you the opportunity to get bigger. You don't have to try to force yourself to get big. They're like, oh, look, the next trade. Oh, look, the next trade. Oh, look, the continuation.
Dang.
Whatever it is. So Amazon reversion is a beautiful example of that. That's coming into fruition as of right now. But IPO listings that are happening this week, let's go through that. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger over here and scroll down. So, all right. So right off the bat, what's standing out to me? So notional. So right here, almost $1 billion worth on Netscope. I don't know who these guys are, but they have about 47, almost 48 million shares, priced at $15 to $17, and that's coming out on the 18th. And the 18th is Thursday, right? 18th is Thursday, so that one's coming out on Thursday. But take a look at this one, StubHub. Now I know a lot of people are familiar with StubHub, and that's coming in with 34,000 shares to offer on the 17th, which is on Wednesday, and another almost $1 billion offering. Not offering, but a notional IPO. $978 million worth. Maybe priced in and around 20 to 25 as of right now. I'm curious to know, are these oversubscribed? Are they opening above or below some of these reference prices? But StubHub and Netscope this week, Wednesday and Thursday, I'm definitely going to have eyes on. I'm definitely going to be watching for sure. And some of the other ones, sure, maybe, but I like those two right off the bat. I think they're names that one of them is a name that I definitely recognize, and the other one is significant enough for me to perk my interest as well. So don't forget, guys. Maybe if you're looking at saving risk or focusing on important opportunities this week, some of those IPOs, we know IPO season has been absolutely hot. Some great IPOs last week as well. Sure, they don't go up in a straight line or go down in a straight line, but in terms of day trading opportunity where the chart and the price action is literally telling you what it wants to do, these opportunities have been absolutely amazing. And if you want an example of that, there's Gemini from last week, right? GEMI. I'm curious to know how that one's doing today. Let's take a quick look at that one. GEMI, this one IPO'd last week. I didn't get in off of the open, but I did trade it much, much later when it started consolidating way below VWAP. So you can see here, let's go down to, okay, this is a 3 minute. So this was a good IPO last week. Absolutely solid open. That open blasting up into a halt up instantly off the bat. Like you got opening prices, it was halted within seconds, and then it opens up much higher. I think it halted up at, what's the price here? It halted up at $40.70. It opens up at $44.45 and insta halts down. And I was like, oh boy. So I didn't get involved in either of that action. I didn't get involved here as well. Look at that reference breakdown. And sure, we kind of chop it up a little bit. That reference breakdown coming in real nice. I actually was really patient and I got involved in this consolidation here. I actually kind of started shorting into here and I was looking to take a lot more as we reverted back into VWAP, which is a different trade, the bid. But I'm looking for that seller dominance to step back in. And guess what? Those sellers do step back in, and I did well to kind of sell all of this action for the nice flush into 32s, and then added got a little bit more in for the flush into the end of the day there. But coming in today, I was looking for maybe a little bit of continuation, but off of the open, we were kind of opening up in and around this prior day's VWAP area, and I saw that we couldn't quite get through it, so we just kind of traded sideways. I didn't really have too much of a solid plan unless and until it broke prior day low with any sort of significance. It almost got close, right at 10:30, but a nice little bid brought us right back to VWAP and trading sideways. But to say the least, IPOs are given great opportunities. So the opportunity on what was the other one? There was not Figma, FIGR, Figure. This one was great as well last week, and that came in on Thursday. So the level on this one was no, this is not the one that I'm looking for. There was one that did a $50 breakdown. What was that one? There was something that was trading in and around $50, and Klarna. Sorry, thank you, Dara. There you go. KLAR. So Klarna, another great IPO from last week. That one came out on, was it Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday. So Wednesday. This was the one, man. This was the one that basically told you what it wanted to do right off of the open. Sellers come in aggressively strong, pushing lower. Reserve on the bid at 50, and sellers just knocking hard into them. And so it was like, I was just like, all right, when that buyer is done, when that 50 buyer is done, we've already seen the seller sentiment. We're below opening prices, way below opening range as well on the 1 minute, and then a reserve bid shows up. Right away, I'm like, I want to get involved for when that buyer is absolutely done because of how strong the sellers are hitting into the bid. And guess what? When that buyer at 50 was done, Joe, we instantly were printing 48s, $2 down on that $50 break. So that scalp was absolutely beautiful. And the chart and the price action basically were telling you what they wanted to do going into that $50 break. Probabilities increasingly, I guess, changing and increasing pretty distinctly as that bid starts decrementing and getting taken out there. And oh boy, instantly $2 in the money if you took that $50 short. So these are kind of an example of the opportunities that I'm talking about here that come alongside with IPOs. Some of the price action and some of the tape is very, very significant because these are fresh prices. It's kind of, I wouldn't call it no man's land, but it's more like, it's fresh prices, it's newly discovered prices. So every level, every buyer, every seller that kind of shows itself holds some sort of significance. And that buyer on 50 was definitely significant on Klarna. And when Buddy was done buying for whatever reason, oh boy, did that flush come in quite nicely. So Klarna, good one. Since then, though, man, it's been kind of it's kind of sideways there. We did bid down all the way down to $40, so we got a $10 follow through from that $50 breakdown. But as of today, we're trading with a high a day of $44.90. So we're just chopping around these 40s as of right now in Klarna. But the first few days on these IPOs, in terms of intraday trading, can be absolutely great.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, good look there. Gorev, my guy, yeah, we're just looking at this Google, and I'm like, yeah, I'm out of it. Not a good idea to do so as it starts to curl over. I mean, that print was there, the one that we were looking for, so positive stuff. And the thing is, though, it's like, okay, I just got out of a trade that was working a little bit better for me, and then essentially, what time did we start getting involved in this IBIT trade here, Obi? It's going to be 11:20, right? So we've been in this thing for over for 2 hours now, and I'm like, okay, we're just hovering around VWAP. I like what Adam DeLuce was pointing out. He's like, yeah, you haven't really broken down or anything along those lines, so just continue to hold otherwise, right? And I'm like, do I buy a little bit more? The thing is, though, I got out of a trade that was working relatively good, and I'm going to add into a position that's essentially doing nothing. And that's the mistake that we're trying to learn from the other day, right? So just keep that in mind. I'll pull up that actual that chart there to see what we got going on. It's just like, don't do this. It's just like, make sure that you have the size on for the right trade. You know what I mean? Any thoughts on? Yeah, we'll take a look at that in a minute there. I just want to touch on something there. My guy, Stock Hunter. So this was Friday. I mean, we had a couple good opportunities. The IBIT trade. This is a horrible screenshot, so I got to do a better job anyways. And essentially what I'm getting at here, guys, is it's just that, so this was the trade right there. And it's just like, okay, it's just like, you go half risk. Oh, there we go. So that's a little bit better of a look. This one worked. We did get stopped out the majority. But at the end of the day, it's just like, look how aggressively I'm building in when there's just like, okay, use this as your average, use that as your base, and if you look at the chart, it does this for a little bit longer, and then eventually it breaks out. And it's just, I was just too aggressive here. It's just adding, instead of being more patient and waiting for the volume to step in when the time is right to add. Or you have the signals displaying themselves. Speaking of signals, Gorev, ETHA, and then IBIT. Oops. IBIT looking pretty good there as well. And I wanted to get a little bit more at the lower end, but I'm just going to be patient and wait for the volume to step in. That's the name of the game, right? It tells you a lot. So that's what it is there on, this is some of the old trades. How we doing on the month? Nothing substantial here. We'll put this up here on the day for the folks and see what else we got going on. So yeah, 3 red days back to back there, but then we're off to a half decent start. So nothing to complain about. This day is when I got shot down. I got shot down here though, Obi. So yeah.
No, the start to my month was pretty rough. I would say, to say the least. But yeah, back to back kind of reds, and I was like red 3 days in a row, and that's usually when I take a step back and I'm like, oh boy. There's you really got to clean something up if you're getting that's just for me and my personal stats.
Yeah.
If I'm red 3 days in a row, I'm just like, okay, I'm definitely on tilt or doing something that's carrying over because statistically that shouldn't happen very often. But even though it does, if you look at some of how the stats work for win rates, it's very likely to go on a red losing streak for multiple days. And it's funny, it happens every now and then to me, and I'm just like, I have like an existential crisis. I'm just like, oh my God, did I forget how to trade? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, And I'm just like, okay, no, just gotta review some of the trades, review how the market has been acting. I like my reversions. How have the reversions been acting? How do they actually come in? Is there a little bit of chop in and around them? Kind of readjust and then get back to trading market mechanics there. So that happens every now and then. But yeah, no, it can be a little rough. But that's the thing about trading, man. You gotta know how to get hit, and you gotta be okay with getting back up as if nothing happened. Because you gotta trust your process. You gotta believe in yourself. Because no one else is gonna do it for you. If you don't believe in yourself as a trader, who is going to? You have to be your biggest fan, and you got to be serious about it as well. And I'm saying that out loud because I'm not good at that sometimes. I'm not. Sometimes I'm not taking some things as seriously as I really should be, and taking other things a lot more seriously than I really should be as well. So that balance is always a good find. But
Yeah,
sorry, a little bit of a rant there, but
no, it is what it is. Right?
The beginning of my month was absolutely terrible, but we're starting to piece it back.
Brother,
as of right now.
This is the name of the game. Come January, I'm going to be entering year 5, right? So it's like very rarely, as you point out, Obi, that I have 3 red days in a month, right? But this is coming off here, July. It's just like, okay, yeah, I come off vacation, bachelor party, bang, sure enough. Not good, but Fridays have been typically pretty good for us. Wednesdays have most definitely. But then also, full disclosure, look at this. I couldn't buy a green Thursday in the past month and a half, right? That's the reality of it. I couldn't, if I went to the store and said, hey, sell me something so I can do something here on Thursday, they'd be like, no, sorry, sir, we're not even selling that stuff here. So Thursdays, this is the reality of intraday trading, right? Like if you're trading every single day, for some reason, I can't buy a Thursday, Obi. I don't know what it is. Wednesdays are my best days. Yeah. Wednesdays and Fridays, no problem. We're rocking and rolling. Yeah. But Thursday is just like that staple in my trading where, as of late, I couldn't buy one. So whatever it may be.
I mean, it's good. It's a good observation. It's definitely not the market, I'll tell you.
No,
but it's just like it's
no
probably
way.
just it could be so many different things as well. But I think I used to have that stat where I think it was. I would be red on a lot of Mondays. And I was like, okay, it's definitely not the market, but I tried to look into like what I was doing differently, and I think I was a little bit more like coming in with a lazy mindset from the weekend. Yeah. So I'm like, I gotta be a little bit more crisp on Mondays. But yeah, it's a good thing. I like that you do that. You really have to delve into how you perform and what are the days that you should be kind of holding back a little bit, right?
That's Thursday, right?
Absolutely solid. Yeah. So we got a little bit of business to do, and we'll get right back to it. So guys, listen up. Traders, first month free. That's right. we are waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder, and upgrade to elite. Analyze, strategize, and capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts. Predict with backtesting. Reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips. All in one platform, so don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description for our friends at eSignal.
Yeah, for sure. And just to add to what some of these people are saying, and you know what? Every other Wednesday I play hockey and the games are usually later, so come Thursday morning I'm a little bit tired and that can most definitely affect it. And, pardon me? Yeah, absolutely. It definitely plays a part in it too, right? But again, I play on Thursdays every Thursday, and I come in, and Fridays are one of my better days as well too. So whatever it may be, right? It's like I'm not over here. I'm telling you guys the real deal. Like, why would I display otherwise? But for me, it's just personally. Okay, let's try. And I hear what you're saying, limiting beliefs. There's like, okay, I go to sleep, I'm like, all right, we got our workouts in, our brain's running, we wake up early, we go to the gym, we do everything properly, and then sure enough, you come in. So it's not like I'm discrediting myself or I don't believe in my abilities. It's just that for some reason there must be something from an execution standpoint on my mind. And then the other 2 weeks ago, it did creep into the back of my mind, like, oh, I'm usually really bad on Thursdays. And then sure enough, when that thought settles in a bit, then sure enough, you're just you're just trying to go green instead of putting on the right trade necessarily. So that's what happened with me. No, I play 3 times a week, Los Polios. I play 3 times a week, and I'm in the gym every other day, every day of the week, essentially, except for maybe once or twice throughout my hockey days, right? So other than that, man, just
which gym do you go to?
I just go to the condo gym now.
Nice.
Otherwise, I had like LA. LA Fitness membership.
Condo's so much easier. It's right there.
It's right there, right? And it's good. So I can wake up at 6, be down at the gym at like 6:15, come back at 45 minutes, 7 o'clock, showered, out the door at 7:30, here by 8:45,
that's solid.
right?
That's absolutely solid.
Sorry, 7:45.
Like the commute to the gym is what kind of kills a big part of going to the gym for me, in terms of like, because from where I live, and cool down time would take just over an hour. And I'm like, I'm spending commute time to go work out for 45 minutes? Dude, I'm not gonna do that. That's literally 50% of my gym time is commute. I'm not gonna do that. But that's when I started working out a lot more at home as well. But no, I gotta, there's a new gym that opened up. So
is it open now?
Yeah, Brankles is back this week. So we were talking about
going to the
it's literally
the
5 minutes. The fifth floor.
Right?
It's right there. It's open now.
Have you looked at it yet?
So I went inside. I looked at it. I didn't go inside the gym because there's no staff there. It's literally a machine that kind of dispense, like you buy your membership from the machine and it gives you your card. Really? So it's all like automated.
Is that how they're going? That's the route.
I don't know if there's staff indoors. I didn't go downstairs or to do whatever because
Oh, is it 2 floors?
Yeah, there's multiple floors.
Oh, nice. All right.
So it's good. It has all good facilities. Yeah. So I'm definitely hyped for it, and it's not even a 5-minute walk away. So it's
right
like
there.
If I want to take an hour, like I'll go on a walk for like an hour. Yeah. In and around lunchtime or in the middle of the day, I might as well walk for 5 minutes, crush some weight. Out of trades earlier on. Unfortunately, did not hold that Amazon short from 233s all the way down to 233. So we did get pretty close to some of that area where we start to curl up and through the opening range highs much earlier on from about 10:30. So a little bit of a wick action there. I guess my fumble to not take some more in and around VWAP for another point down, but it is what it is. I understood that when I was doing this, I had a decent, or not a decent chance, but a good chance of missing the second leg there off of VWAP. But that's the choice that I made, and that is the risk that I took. So nice little push, nice little bump up here as well. So we're breaking that downtrend for reversion back to VWAP all the way from 231.5-ish area here on Amazon. So good look there. Some people in the chat were talking about go Amazon, so I pulled it up and I'm like, okay, well, if you're long, it's working out as of right now. And the market bounced as well a little bit here in and around, but in around that 24.5. But this is the same area where we chopped around all of the morning session. So that this range is really what I'm interested in. I was looking for the reversion into this area, the 24.5. We've done that now. So we've got a little bit of short-term selling into this area. I'm curious to know what we do with this range now as well. So that's the next step for me in terms of looking at these futures. But in terms of you, what are you guys doing? What are you guys trading? And what are you guys involved with? Are you guys going to be trading the IPOs this week? Are you guys excited? Do you guys have a game plan for those IPOs? Right? StubHub and Netscope, which is I'm not too familiar with Netscope, but StubHub looks interesting for sure.
Yeah, I think StubHub is something that we're going to be keeping our eyes on. Gaurav Los Polios, nice print there on ETHA at the lows there, guys. So pretty good look. Bang. Have that indecision print. The volume wasn't supporting it, but you're grinding right back towards the volume weighted average price. So that's something really, really great there. And then also IBIT. I think this is the one, Rivy. And hold on, where is my guy, man? I got to tag this guy. He said, I haven't heard a peep from him ever since he said, he says, yo, I'm in it too. Well, all right, I've been trying to tag you, Rivian, and you haven't been responding to me. I think this is the one where we can finally break through some of this. I will be taking some off at the punch of the resistance if the volume doesn't step in. Volume steps in at the break, we're holding off and then looking for the ad. No volume at the break, we're going to take a little bit off there to see what we got going on, all right? Now, I don't know. Oh, no, I don't even think that. Why would I think you're rude? You're obviously just saying, like, hey, it's right. You're not wrong there. You know what I mean?
You're not nice, you're rude.
Yeah, but not nice, you're rude. Yeah. Okay, my bad. Yeah, see, that's what I was doing on last week there, Rivian, as well, too, is just within that consolidation, I was just absorbing. I like taking that term from you, just absorbing some liquidity there.
I looked for that a lot, eh?
Pardon me?
Like a price absorption, flow absorption, not necessarily price absorption, but flow absorption. Like I'll definitely look at that. Look at that. That can be so significant at times. Yeah.
Absolutely. It can determine a lot. One thing that I am worried about a little bit here, Rivian, is that we have an inside day, right? Like if we take a look at IBIT from a daily standpoint and where we're sitting in within this range, we're at the lower end of it. Have we breached it? So maybe if we have breached it, we won't get that inside day. Yeah, we have. So yeah, I'm just going to eat those words quick. But essentially what I was thinking is, like, hey, are we just going to sit within this range here throughout the intraday session and not necessarily break? But if this closes as like this hammer, I'm loving it, and I'll probably add another contract or so there. Now, let's see. West, y'all. Hey, Joseph and Obi, I'm just noticing now how massive a silent move STX and WDC since April, second layer. AI going off. Check out STX on weekly. Upset I missed my undervalued trade. Obi's saying, oh boy. So it sounds like he knows a little bit about STX.
I was watching this whole sector.
Were you?
Yeah. A couple of weeks ago, I was watching it. Like, look at the weekly, look at the daily. It's all hard drive. It's all hard drive stocks.
Is it?
So Western Digital, Seagate, that's STX, right? And then there's a few other that's part of the basket. I wrote down the basket somewhere earlier, but I don't know all of them off of the top. But yeah, the weekly on some of these hard drive stocks. Oh boy, getting bought right up. And I don't know, is it the data center bid?
Yeah,
could be,
so.
Right? You got to think about it. So like things that are happening, AI, the AI boom can trickle into a lot of different things, right? It's like what is the infrastructure required? That's why you have things like ARM and SMCI or like an AVGO and things like that kind of move around alongside. But like, what about hard drives? What about data storage, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's interesting that, a little bit under the radar while everybody's looking at chips, there's a strong, uninterrupted bid happening on hard drives. So it's really where you got to look. And sometimes where you're looking could be a little confusing.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, this thing, what a consolidation here, Obi. I'm curious to see what you guys think about
SNDK. Sorry, that was the other one. Riven Millionaire, SanDisk.
SanDisk. Yes, SanDisk. I remember saying. Guys, let me know what you think. Which way does Bitcoin break from here? Are we going to bounce off of these support levels continuously, or are we going to punch through them eventually? Which party is going to win? Is it the bears or the bulls?
Oh, I'm looking for flushes, man.
You're looking for flushes?
Yeah, I wanna, you know.
Even in Bitcoin?
What's that?
Even in Bitcoin, or just it doesn't? Anybody can get it.
Just in Bitcoin, yeah. I'm looking for strong flushes because like I want to be on the other side of that exit liquidity.
You want it to go down?
Yeah.
Oh man.
So I can buy more.
Okay. All right. That's
Come on.
We can justify that. But
give me a nice 50% pullback.
Full disclosure, I'm in it, and I have some contracts too. I don't know if that was going to play a factor into your thought process.
Come on.
I was saying you still want to.
I'm looking for healthy price action, which is not just line go straight up. I'm looking for healthy, like I want to see sellers really come in and slam it real hard, and then for it to hold structure and bid it right back up. That's like, think about it. Bitcoin has been doing that, what, 50, 60, 70% flushes, and then the bid just steps right back in? Like, does that not signify strength? So it's
sorry?
On something like a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like strong pullbacks kind of revert right back to fresh highs, making higher highs and higher lows over time. Like, does that not signify the overall, like the trade is the trade? The buying demand is definitely there, and you can argue about, you know, why that trade is the trade, right? Why the long on crypto is the trade. There's definitely a few good reasons why, but yeah.
Yeah, Dolcut says BMNR. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for those leverage plays, by all means, but don't forget, I think there's a little bit of a probe going into these leverage products, like MSTR and BMNR, right?
Oh, yeah. BMNR, that one was, Bitmine. I was like, this one came up on my scans this weekend, actually.
It's definitely in play.
And I was just like, I kind of took it off my list. It's definitely in play for sure, because I'm like, this is not on the time frame that I'm looking at, which is I'm looking at it from a day trading perspective. But the thing is that this BMNR is looking like it's doing something on a much higher time frame. A bit of a curl up on the hourly is what I was looking for. But yeah, it came up on my scans because of the strong push end of day on Friday. But I didn't really have too much interest in it. But interestingly enough, it broke this prior high and sold off on a day like today. I like the bid that's been holding. That's what I'm kind of pointing out here. So the bigger picture, this is kind of what I'm looking at here, kind of these dips getting bought since the beginning of the month. So let's see if we see more of the same, even though we kind of extended a little aggressively to the upside end of day on Friday. So strong close on the week. Let's see if that was a little exhausting.
Lead joined the board is when it started to get nuts.
Right. There was a catalyst around it.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you, KJB. Thank you for the memberships. You've done it. Now you've gifted 10 memberships all together there. Very, very much appreciated. So everybody's members. So really, really good look on that one there. Much appreciated. Thank you. I don't think Obi is muted, to be honest. It may be just Mike cutting in and out as well too. So just keep that in mind there, folks. Thanks for sticking through with us throughout this whole day, man. Sure. It's been a pretty good one, Obi. I know you had those you had multiple nice shorts there on Amazon, and you really only traded two names today, Amazon and Tesla.
That's it.
Good stuff.
What's up? What's happening?
Neil was telling Randy to shh. Oh. He's making too much noise.
It's all good,
there, man. We can't tell
You're fine.
Randy.
You're more than fine.
Yeah, I would never.
Ever.
I would never do that to you, Randy. Ever.
No. Oh boy.
Who's
crawling home? What was that?
Who's crawling home?
I don't know.
Someone, not me. I'm on Randy's side there. I'm on Neil's. I'm on both guys' sides. To be honest with you, I wouldn't even pick one. I'd be
the only side I'm trying to be on is the right side of the V.
That's all that matters. So just trying to be on the right side of the trade. At the end of the day,
right side of the trade.
Yeah.
So just gotta make sure. You're not counter trending.
Yeah.
If you are counter trending, which is still valid, it's still a trend trade. That you don't stay here. You say you're welcome too long. But right side of the V. definitely coming in on some of these names here as, the pullbacks have been quite nice. Apple maybe with a little bit of a bid here coming in, so let's pull that one up. I want to check what Apple is up to, and we'll do it together. So we'll go down to 3 minute, because I like that, AAPL. Let's take off some of these indicators, because I don't really want to see them. Okay, cool. So yeah, 235 held really well off of the open. I like that. Higher highs, higher lows relatively on the higher time frame off of the breakout that we've been having. Apple through that 200 just a little while ago was absolutely solid, and we're starting to see a little bit of, I guess, going to a higher time frame. Take a look at this. Maybe some acceptance of price off of this breakout that we had. That was that 216 push that came in post earnings. Earnings wasn't taken very great, but that 200 held really, really well, and then we pushed back up. But yeah, a little bit of consolidation here happening above in and around the first quarter. 225 is what I mean. So we've been holding those levels quite well and trading relatively higher highs, higher lows as well on Apple. So I like the look. On its way, it seems, back to all-time highs. We've seen that kind of come in on a few of these stocks, and Apple was lagging behind. So let's see if that comes to fruition there on Apple. So NVIDIA as well, maybe taking a little bit of sideways action right now.
Guys, yeah, if you're having troubles with the stream, even on my side, just make sure you refresh. It'll tune you right back in. So a little bit of laggy and audio issues throughout today's session, but we'll most definitely get that stuff cleaned up and sorted out. So don't forget to. It's YouTube. It's not us. It's YouTube.
It's YouTube. Apparently, it's not even us.
It's YouTube. So we'll have a talk
that makes sense.
With them over there. But
money.
That's all that matters right now. Obi, thank you for sending me that one there.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Should I? Maybe I should. Can I get my own? Should I do one? Money. No, I can't take that from Katina. He would get too mad. He would get mad at me. So I wouldn't do. We'll come up with something else there.
Yeah, you got to be something similar.
Yeah, you got to do something. Double spin, money.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we'll get Andre to clip that one there. Obviously joking around, but guys, let's do a quick trade review.
Yes.
We only got 7 minutes left, man. Time flies on Mondays, and when you're working with your friends as well too. So we'll start that off with IONQ. What is this one up? The New York listed name, Quantum Space. Really nice trade here. We'll zoom in. We'll bring everything to the 1 minute. Again, we're just looking for the continuation in strength, right? So if we go over here and we take a look at the daily, you have multiple touches, and then you have the momentum and the volume stepping in, breaking in through key resistance zones. So simple thesis. You just want to look for the continuation in strength and when it displays to. Me personally, I like to buy at VWAP or indecisions below it. All right, so there we go. Boom, right at VWAP, IONQ. That worked out pretty good for us throughout the day. We take $1 on that one. Now, as for TSLL, everybody and their mother's brother was watching this one throughout the day. And sure enough, it took a little while to get it going, but we're thankful that it did start to work out for us there. Attempt number 1. Loss. Attempt number 2, loss. Number 3, we double it up here. Nice indecision print. You get that move. And then, unfortunately, we did get stopped out the majority. And then we take another stab. We get stopped out. But patience is extremely key because moments later, literally 3 minutes later, you get a perfect signal to the top side. And sure enough, bang, you have the ability to take it up there. And then a little scalp here on Google. No substantial size whatsoever. But we'll take it just because we had those prints. And I'm glad that we did eventually get out. So there it is, boom, we're long up there, we take it there, and then eventually I'm like, you know what, I don't love it here, there's a flip on the tape. It did put in a new high, but sure enough, you can see it flush, and I would have probably got stopped out. Now, IBIT, doing what we were talking about, it did the exact same thing here on Friday, looking for the continuation, and we're still sitting in this, and we're finally at the highest peak of the day, and there it goes, Obi. It looks like if that volume starts to kick in, who knows, maybe we'll be able to take somewhat advantage of that. Should I lock in a little bit? I think so, just as we are at the top end of the range. I know it is working, but we'll take a third out there. All right, so there it is. We take a third out of that IBIT trade. So yeah, not too bad of a look there, Obi.
Nice, good stuff there. I guess I'll follow suit, do some reviews on the trades that I took as well. Amazon kind of fell into my lap, to be honest. I was just watching, looking around, and I saw this breakout, this strong push on Amazon through the high opening range high through 332s. And I was like, oh boy, that's a little bit of buying pressure. I like that. That was a missed trade on my part. Definitely very much part of the playbook, but not really involved in that. So where's the next trade? I'm just like, oh boy. If these buyers start to dissipate, I definitely want to be part of that because that is a little bit of an exhaustive action there through the day high, and then not really any significant follow through, just a little bit of a follow through there. But we start to slow down. I was patient. I didn't really get involved much higher, but when we got back through that 233, I was like, all right, I do want to start to dabble, and then it gives us the lower high as well. That's the confirmation here, and I do get a little bit bigger on this one, bringing it into VWAP. I'm sure it breaks VWAP, goes a little bit lower into some of this prior structure down at 231s. Didn't quite hold for that, but it is what it is. I will definitely try to do a little bit better with holding just a little piece tomorrow there as well. So Tesla was on everyone's mind coming into the day today, especially with the aggressive bid on Friday was already on scans. And then Elon coming out with the Form 4 this morning being like, yeah, bought about $1 billion worth of Tesla at an average of 395-ish, somewhere around there is the average of that purchase on Friday, and we got that crazy move coming into the day today off of the open. So, or not off of the open, but in the pre-market right here. So let me just go pull up this chart here so you can see 430.36 was that pre-market high, and that worked out quite well if you kind of took that continuation in the morning session. I was watching this in and around 6:37 a.m. and I was like, oh boy, this 420 is really churning. I want to be part of this for the second leg up coming into the open, but guess what? It already did that action in the pre-market, so most of that buying already done with that expanding, not only expanding, well, expanding relative volume, not much expanding volume, but expanding relative volume for sure, going into about 745 where that top was made at 430.36. But since then, kind of seller dominant off of the open, bit of a chop sideways, maybe consolidating as well. So I got chopped up trying to go long, and then I did eventually flip short and kind of make some of it back there. But I think I'm still a little bit red on Tesla, but guess what? I didn't hear no bell.
Ooh.
Day's not over.
Day's not over.
There's still lots of opportunity on the table. And guess what? The market is ripping for highs. Look at that Nasdaq. Nice little bounce here off of that 24,500 right here. Oh, boy.
There goes Bitcoin.
There it goes. It's a nice little bounce coming in to the market. So that Apple reversion might be interesting as of now. So that's what I got going on. It's been a solid midday with you guys here today, and yeah, great trades. Tesla was great. Amazon was great. What else was there? Pfizer was great. Throw it up in the chat. What other stocks did you guys think were absolute bangers on the day today? I like the Alphabet reversion as well, the Amazon reversion as well. Amazon breakout was nice as well. So a lot of opportunity, and it's not even over. We got 2 huge IPOs this week. Maybe not as big as Klarna or like a Circle, but definitely tickling that $1 billion mark. So yeah. I definitely am excited for this week. Got to stay locked in.
Locked and loaded. Yes.
I promise. There. Yeah, Bitcoin's breaking out.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
I promised Wayne that I'd be locked in this week. So definitely
for the IPO.
For just in general, just the opportunities in this market are absolutely wild. We're getting months worth of opportunities within weeks. So
now I'm going to hold you accountable as well too, because come the end of the week, I'm going to be like, oh, did you lock in? Did you abide by all your stops? Did you do all everything that you were supposed to do in order to make it the best week possible, regardless if it's profitable or not? If you're happy with that execution, that matters, and that'll make me happy as long as you put on a good day as well too.
For sure.
Man, oh wow, it's 2 o'clock.
It's 2 o'clock, man. Do you want some time to go get set up?
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, we'll see what we got. I know it's Neil here, so maybe I will have to pop over to that desk there, see what we got going on. But yeah, as for IBIT, we caught that breakout, so nice work there, Rivian Millionaire. Google's starting to go as well, too. Yeah, nice little push. Nice, great trade on IBIT. Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, I didn't put on very much size there, Obi, considering last week I wanted to focus on execution correctly opposed to building up size. There was some opportunities to get involved with some more, but that's okay. We'll take it for what it is. Been an okay day. We can always make a little bit more money. But yes, we're going to go to the washroom. Are you going to stick around here?
Yeah, I'll stick around.
I'll give you some time. Is he ready to rock and roll? bro. Whatever you want to do.
Give him some time. Yeah,
whatever you guys do.
To chill for a bit. I'll chill with Neil. Yeah, great show, man.
Yeah,
solid
great stuff. I know
you'll be seeing him soon enough.
I'm just gonna move 2 feet.
Yeah. I might go back to my desk at the back for the close, but I don't know. I'm just chill. I got all my stuff open here, so I'll be here. I'm chilling. Tesla's been great, man. Tesla, look at that reversion coming in now. Coming into the low of day here. So range is being tested. The range lows right here. So a bit of a false break that happened earlier on with a low of 4.